Alrighty. Don't worry, guys. I have the VTuber model up on here. How am I sounding? I think I sound alright. Let me just turn up the volume on my phone real quick. Okay, yep. Don't need to hear double scurvy. Let's see. For no reason, how you doing? Only have one person in here so far. Oh crap, I almost forgot to bring up the itinerary. There's always something I forget to do. Alrighty, there we go. I have the itinerary right here. Let's get this off here. Here I am, the orange VTuber, once again. Got my soundboard right here. Chat. Oh, for once, I actually don't look like I'm spazzing out. Instead of looking at chat over here, I just look it down here. Okay. Anything else I need to do? Oh, yeah. I gotta send links out to people. I already sent a link on my X account, or my Twitter account, I should say. Just gonna wait about maybe 5 minutes. So while I do that, just gonna browse my... Oh yeah, I think Raisin, you sent me something. Let's see, let's open that.
To get started with making...
Oh, it's orange juice! Using a blender!
What the hell is this?
Oh, of course you say that, Raisin. You love putting me in the blender. Man, so just gonna wait a little bit. I guess I will give this little preamble before we start everything. So, it's official. Scurvy is back at his parents' place. And I now have a functioning Ethernet port, so that just means VTube Studio is going to function a lot better. Also, the show is going to start a little bit later. Like, after this week, it's going to start a little bit later. And all the episodes are going to be happening on Friday instead of Saturday. However, if there's still like a special episode, like a Nintendo Direct or the Switch 2 proper reveal, I might do a stream about that. I just probably have to go to the gym a little later. But other than that, the regularly scheduled programming will happen on Fridays, 7 p.m., 7:15 at the latest. So I'm probably going to clip this out as well, just make a little video. Probably should have done that on OBS. It's whatever. I'll just record it on my own time. But yes, that's basically the gist of the major channel updates. Oh wait, no. I think we still have one more to go. So, Scurvy's life is going to start getting busy again. It's already kind of busy as it is. But, I think what I'm going to be doing, and this is just an I think, it's not exactly certain until I write it down. If I make a video for 1 week, don't expect a stream. And if I have a stream ready, don't expect a video. I think that's fair, don't you think? I think that's fair. Okay, we'll get the show started proper in like 2 minutes. Once again, just kind of explaining where I've been, what I've been up to. Scurvy's also been doing grad school stuff too. And then I'm also, of course, very active on my X account. So give me a follow there. I'll link it in the chat. So if you want to give me a follow, I have 187 followers, though I don't know how many. I think most of them are real. The bot purge happened a while ago. Have Revy from Black Lagoon as the thumbnail. I've never seen Black Lagoon. I probably should after I'm done with Ultimate Muscle. Okay, we got one more minute. Just gonna wait a little bit longer, then we'll get straight into the itinerary. Okay, we do have quite the packed show tonight. Oh yeah, also, now that I'm home, I don't need to worry about noise complaints. I could actually stay up, and not to mention I've been doing plenty of shouting in this room of mine, and it hasn't woken up my dad. So that's nice. That's nice. Are you in the blender yet? No, I'm not in the blender, Raisin. We're about to be in 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, so tonight on the ScurvyRum show, we're bringing back the main headline segment for this one. I think it's rather important. And it's the title, I Love Geopolitics. I say that with a little bit of sarcasm, but also with a little bit of truth at the same time. So, our first video of the night, it was actually suggested to me by one of the viewers on the show, Henok. Olaf Scholz will go to Moscow in an attempt to save Germany by Sebastian Sass. I don't know who this guy is. He seems pretty based if Henok is linking the video to me. We have our first X account spotlight, American First Post, or AF Post for short. Our next video, watching feminists struggle with this much cope should be a national sport. I forgot to put by Better Bachelor. It's by Better Bachelor. I'm doing some live edits on stream right now. That's per usual. We're gonna have another X account spotlight, Radio Genoa. We've actually covered this account before. And then our next video of the night, yes, it was a cover-up by the Lotus Eaters. We're just gonna call the podcast of the Lotus Eaters for short. And then for our regular cancellation, we have the Los Angeles Fire Department. All that and maybe a little bit more tonight on the ScurvyRum show. Let's get started with that little preamble of mine. Okay, just gotta wait a little bit. Okay, there we go. Ah, man, you know, the world truly has been burning. Literally. Especially when it comes to Los Angeles, which is basically modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah. But, oh, man. Europe is going to shit. I know Asia's having its troubles. Australia's also going through shit. The Middle East especially has been going through some shit. Africa, not as much, but it's mainly in like South Africa, where Spoon is from. But, whew, man, the world is burning, but it keeps on turning. Oh yeah, I think South America is also going through some stuff too. Oh man, let me just take a sip. Scurvy's having a Bacardo mango chili. It's actually really damn good. Holy shit. And I can't get this little thing out of my eye. Perfect fucking timing. At least all the blinking's being caught on my model. Anyways, back to my little rant here. The only place to escape geopolitics, Point Nemo, the Pacific Ocean. Ah, yes. And, basically somewhere abandoned, or there's not many people. Yep. Or just go in the mountains. That's another way you could escape geopolitics. In the words of Thorum from World of Warcraft, in the mountains. I forgot the rest of the quote. But, man, all these political decisions, all these political happenings are having global ramifications. From said wildfire to the massive backlash of the British government and other European governments for allowing immigration to get as out of control as it is now. And then in Japan you have, and South Korea you have, and even China too. You have the dating problem, which is it's really bad over there. You think it's bad over here? It's really bad over there. South Korea's birth rate is way below replacement, and a Japanese scholar was theorizing that the Japanese might go extinct. Really scary stuff if you think about it. Feel free to look that up, Scurvy. Hey, Vertigo. I saw your comment. Don't worry. Just going into my little rambling here. Honestly, I think out of all of these problems that I listed, aside from the immediate problem in, because Scurvy's American, from the LA wildfires, it would be all the immigration problem. So the three biggest problems that the world is facing: cost of living, unchecked immigration, and birth rates. Those are the big three issues that the whole world is facing. In terms of the immigration stuff, some areas are better about it than others, but in the areas where it really should be better, it's not. It's actually going to shit, and now we're seeing what's going on in England with all the shrooming gangs. Or, let me correct myself. The grape gangs. That's what it really is. Shrooming gang is still a form of euphemism, because the real thing is actually much more horrific than shrooming gangs. And if you don't know why I'm saying shroom instead of, replacing the SH with a G, yeah, YouTube, that's why. But anyways, with that little preamble out of the way, let's get to our first video of the night. So, okay. Olaf Scholz will go to Moscow in an attempt to save Germany by Sebastian Sass. First time watching this, so let's jump right in.
Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, the 5th of January. Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, the 5th of January, and this is my second video update of the day. In this one we are going to take a look at Olaf Scholz, who wants to make the headlines. But this time, bigger than ever. He's gonna travel to Moscow. Then we're gonna take a look at what happens in the city of Toretsk, where we...
So, let me look up who this Olaf Scholz guy is. I assume he's a German politician. I don't know what party. Olaf Scholz. Member of the Social Oh boy, it's a fucking leftist party. That's gonna work out so well for you.
We have some statements from a military commander who's responsible for this area, and he describes the situation in detail to the point where he basically implies that he's not very hopeful of being able to keep hold of Toretsk for much longer. This is basically why I've talked in the previous episode about Kursk. That's just a way for them to hide and distract from what's really going on in Ukraine, which is really bad. So the green t-shirt decided that he's gonna launch an
Oh yeah, let me turn this down a little bit.
Offensive of sorts in Kursk, just to distract the people, not just the people in Ukraine, but the people at large, from just how bad the situation is for him, by pointing fingers at Russia. You see, I've taken another 5 more kilometers. Forget about the fact that I'm losing hundreds and thousands of kilometers.
Diaboros says, clearly the king made things too expensive. Abso-fucking-lutely he did. And there's no... Usually, the historical pattern would be, things get too expensive, people revolt. But that's not happening now. We're living in way too much comfort. And I understand the irony of me saying that.
Then, my friends, we're gonna finish off with an article, which is basically, how should we call it? Made in the green t-shirt land, He always says that he's not going to attack civilian infrastructure in Russia, that he's only concerned, his primary concern, you see, is to attack military infrastructure. But he proves that's a lie every single day. And he's proved it.
Reminds me of another foreign nation that's purposely embroiled itself in war. Yeah, I believe it starts with an I, and it loves bombing innocent children and churches and ambulances.
Again yesterday. My friends, let's begin by taking a look at our good old friend Olaf Scholz. German opposition says Scholz may meet with Putin before the 23rd of February.
Okay.
Roderick Kaiserwetter.
If I were to take a guess as to how this would all go down, the Olaf would be like, "Oh, you see, Putin, we need you to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion." Yeah, I can't really do a good German accent. And Putin is like, "Fuck no, bitch. Fuck no."
Defense spokesperson for the CDU has said that there are signs that Chancellor Olaf Scholz will meet with Russian ruler Vladimir Putin before Germany's parliamentary elections scheduled for the 23rd of February. Quote, "There are more and more signs that Chancellor Scholz will travel to Moscow or meet with Putin before the 23rd of February." Up to about the end of the summer of 2024, Olaf Scholz was very happy to just take his marching orders from Washington and implement whatever was put in front of him. He never really questioned anything because he thought,
so of course the American government has some meddling in this too. We always, I don't know why we're still doing this whole game of world police. It's really retarded.
that's the winning position. Well, he was very wrong, and he realized he was wrong, but it was a little bit too late. Once September came around of 2024, we've seen Olaf Scholz adopting a totally new position. He now wanted to present himself to the German people as a chancellor of peace, as a reasonable man. The problem is,
If I were to think about this correctly, and once again, I really don't know anything about this Olaf Scholz guy, but I'm gonna take a guess here. The guy was like a major war hawk. Probably was sending supplies to Ukraine because that's fucking course the EU was sending its supplies to Ukraine because Russia bad. Even though let's be realistic here, both sides are pretty fucking evil. It's the same thing with the sand conflict. All the sides involved are pretty evil.
it was a little bit
in
too
different
late,
ways.
because the Germany is already very much deep into the process of deindustrialization. The German economy will not recover for the foreseeable future from this hole that
Yep.
Olaf Scholz and his government has put it in. So now Olaf Scholz is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and there's no good decisions for him. Now he's
Seems
basically
like it.
doubling down with only 2 months.
If this was the guy here, I'm just gonna do some bare minimum research. Vice chancellor. Oh, he was the vice chancellor. Oh, he's the fucking chancellor of Germany. Oh, that explains everything. No wonder why Germany's been going to shit. Let me guess. I could tell already by his nose. But just for the sake, we're gonna go to Wikipedia. We're going to go to Wikipedia. Early life. Lutheran? What? He does not look Lutheran. That's a fucking lie, Wikipedia. You are catching on. You are catching on to our game here. Okay. But let's take it at face value. Just probably another reason why I'm not the biggest fan of any flavor of Protestant. Oh shit. Model was glitching out for a second. Still, if he was a Christian, which he's probably lying about that, the policies that he is enacting, that he passed, are not very Christian. Letting a bunch of migrants grape a bunch of young women, that's not very Christian. That's at least the case. Because grape is one of the worst sins you could commit as a human. And saying, oh yeah, grape is okay. It's like, that's a sin too. You're permitting it. You're permitting crime / sin to happen. That's not very Christian.
Months left until the elections, he's doubling down on this position of being a chancellor of peace. I don't think this will do too much good to him because the damage is just too much to just glance over. The bigger problem is that the one who's said to be taking the reins from Olaf Scholz is none other than Friedrich Merz, another BlackRock champion.
Oh,
so
boy.
There's absolutely no prospect.
What's this guy's name? Friedrich Merz. Christian Democratic Union of Germany. Maybe I got the guy's name wrong. I don't know. It's fucking German. Doesn't put the name on here. Show a picture.
Things getting better. My friends, let's continue. For Ukraine, the implementation of these plans means, among other things, suspending the Paris Agreement for 10 to 20 years. It will be important to see how the Ukrainian population or our neighbors react to all of this. The opposition German politician noted that one should be prepared for the surprises of the election.
What does that mean? The surprises of the election campaign. I do remember the, what's the name? The ADF is the German party that recently won. And I know that's also getting some flack because, once again, one of the main people is a lesbian who is very much interested in maintaining relations with Israel. How is that nationalistic when you're focused on the well-being of another nation and not your own? What is going on? And I'm glad Gentile News Network called her out on her bullshit.
Campaign. Why would he even bring up the Paris Agreement? I mean, the Paris Agreement is a treaty that's for the surroundings, you know.
The Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on... Oh, so it's a bunch of bullshit. It was adopted by 196 parties of the UN Climate Change Conference. Oh, I remember this happening. Oh, wait. Nah, I must have mistaken it for something else. But, yeah, this is a bunch of bullshit regardless.
By the way, purely because YouTube doesn't like it. But I'm gonna put it on the screen just so everyone understands what the Paris Agreement really is.
Some
Why would
globalist
he talk about
bullshit.
It? Is it
because she's a Zog? Any European agent is a useless agreement. Ah, hey, Hanak, I didn't see you there. I thought you were AC for a second, but I'm sure they won't since AC.
Because Olaf Scholz wants to reenact the Nord Stream pipeline, or what is this all about? I think he's being vague on purpose, but he's also leaving out just enough to put some hope into the German people. I might be reading into this the completely wrong way, but otherwise I just...
So blue-balling the German population. I see. And I bet the normies of Germany have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Just can't imagine why he would say that the meeting between Scholz and Putin will mean the suspension of the Paris Agreement for Germany. Regardless, I think the actual information will come out soon enough, and rest assured I will report on it. Now let's move on with the article. Kaiserwetter also said that the meeting between Trump and Putin is currently scheduled for March, and let everyone draw their own conclusion on this. This sounds like good...
And by, letting everyone draw their own conclusions, he's, I bet he's going to be saying, oh, Trump and Putin, my bad. They're my bad.
News, but Dmitry Peskov spoke about this about 2 weeks ago, and he stated at the time that there are currently no plans, nothing in the works, in order for Donald Trump to meet with Vladimir Putin. I appreciate that maybe things have changed in the meantime, and hopefully they did, but again, I wouldn't put my hopes up. Not just yet, until there's something official from both sides. Let's carry on with the next article, and this one it's about, well, the developments on the Eastern Front, and this is why I said that the Ukrainians are trying to do something in Kursk in order to distract from what's really
that's a
going on in
Ukrainian
Ukraine.
city.
Russians advance in Toretsk and 5 more settlements in Donetsk Oblast. The enemy has advanced in Kurakove, Toretsk, Sevchenka, and near Dalnie, Vozvizhenka, and Baranivka. It almost feels like I'm covering
Is he Ukrainian? Because he's saying those names like flawlessly.
the same article on repeat in a loop every single day. Almost on a daily basis, there's an article either from Deep State or from somebody else stating that the Russians have advanced in X number of settlements.
Honestly, that's honestly pretty interesting that he brings that up. It's like, it's if the news is saying the same thing over and over again, this is what's known as fire hosing. So fire hosing, well, yeah, it's basically when you just shove the same propaganda over and over and over again, and you're basically he's Romanian, gotcha, and you're basically just trying to wear somebody down, to the point where you're basically forcing them to agree with you because you keep on saying the same thing over and over and over again and not letting the other person or other institution get their say in things. Then again, who owns the Ukrainian media? That's right, the Ukrainian government. Volodymyr Zelensky. And guess what religion he's a part of?
This is the reality on the ground, and this is exactly what the green t-shirt doesn't want us to pay attention to. And he's tried that, he's really tried in many ways, however, none of it worked. So he decided that he's gonna sink more resources into Kursk, even though that resources detracts from the Eastern Front. Because those are men, and that is equipment that could very much be used on the Eastern Front. This is why there was that conflict, and is probably still brewing, in between Deep State and the Ukraine.
Imagine dying for BlackRock and a short gay toucan tribe actor. Yeah, Zelensky isn't even Ukrainian. He's fucking Jewish.
Ukrainian military command, because Deep State is not very fond of what's going on in Kursk. And I've covered that article, I think, last week or so, when Deep State said, what was the point of all of this in Kursk? There's no point. The east of Ukraine is in dire need of manpower and equipment, and we are having men in Kursk. That was basically the gist of it. And of course, the Ukrainian military command didn't take kindly to this criticism. Now, let's look at Toretsk in detail. Fighting in Toretsk, line of contact runs through city center. This is the map of Toretsk and the surrounding places, just so we can have some perspective over what's going on here and where the line of contact is. And now let's get back to the article. The source for all of this is Suspilne Donbass, and they are citing Mansur. Mansur is the acting commander of the Tsunami Regiment. Mansur says the Russian forces... Mansur is
Deep State Analytical Project.
the acting commander of the Tsunami Regiment. Mansur says the Russian forces are constantly conducting assault operations using FPV drones, ATVs, motorcycles, and a significant amount of artillery. Quote, there are a lot of resources there, especially everything related to FPV and attack drones. The enemy does a lot of damage with them.
Ever seen somebody have like hot iron poured on their heads via drone? I have. It's not pleasant.
They also have a lot of artillery. The enemy is constantly carrying out assault operations, constantly working from different directions, from the north, from the south, and from the east. They use vehicles, mainly ATVs and motorcycles. So far, no armored vehicles have been spotted. The fighting is going on.
I do remember hearing something about like tanks or whatnot, how the U.S. government basically gave the Ukrainian military tanks. That and missile systems, I remember that.
In the city itself. The line of contact is somewhere in the center of the city. We can say that the enemy and us cut the city in half. The main reason for why the Russians are making use of motorcycles and ATVs is purely because the Ukrainians are usually making use or heavy use of
So Black Ops 2 got a lot of things right about 2025. Good one, Hanak.
drones. Drones are far easier to operate when your target is an armored vehicle, which is a lot slower, a lot bigger. Motorcycles and ATVs are much harder targets for a drone because they're faster, more mobile, and a lot smaller. Now let's carry on. Cool. Positions can literally be next to each other, and small arm fights can occur between the rooms of the house. The Russian infantry is moving deeper into the city, hiding among the rubble and the buildings, making it difficult to hit them because they are almost everywhere. The fiercest fighting occurs in the city center, near Centralna, Central Mine, in the Zabalka neighborhood, and near Sherbini.
So let's go back to the title of this video. So why is Olaf Scholz trying to go to Russia? And how is going to Russia going to save Germany? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that... Let me pull up a map of Europe real quick. My geography is not all that great. Germany, Czech Republic. Oh, it's nowhere. Germany is nowhere near Ukraine. Wow. So what fucking purpose does that have? To just be going to Russia to try and stop my war. Germany's gonna suffer because of you, big bad Putin. I think you're just doing this to virtue signal, Scholz. Because he doesn't want to end his term in disaster. It's going to end in disaster, Hanok. Like, that's the reality. Like, it is already ending in disaster. This is a really poor saving throw political decision, too. It's like, oh, why go to Russia? I think even the most diehard leftist would be like, why? Why go to Russia?
Nivka. Mansour says that the Russians will intensify their assault operations because the city of
Scurvy, the Europeans are paid 25% by buying gas and oil from USA. So it's oil. And I know Russia also has quite the oil supply, too. We really shouldn't have, got rid of Russian oil because Russia bad, and not to mention, the key in America, the Keystone Pipeline being shut down. Smart decision there, Brandon. I hope Trump immediately reverses it like he said he would. But once again, politician promises, I don't know.
Toretsk is one of the key cities on the way to Konstantinivka. There's a lot more to this article, but I don't want to get lost in details. As usual, if you want to read...
He's probably the bussy Ukraine uses in the peacetime. He misses his bull that went to war. Scholz getting pegged by Zelensky. Ugh. Ugh.
What the hell is this?
Read it in full. The link will be in the description below. I just wanted to offer you some perspective over what's going on in a key city.
Their economy is failing because gas is becoming expensive. A lot of car manufacturers are about to close and move from Germany, but good on the US for getting their money. Huh. Yeah, I guess that is a bit of a power play right there on us. Fuck the American government.
Because this Commander Mansour, he's totally correct. This is a key city for the Russians on their way to Konstantinivka. So I'm sure they will do everything in their power to actually take it. Now with that said, let's go back to what I've previously stated. It feels like I'm covering this sort of topic almost on a daily basis. The Russians are advancing, the Ukrainians are on the back foot. The only thing that differs from one way to the next one is how they spin it. And by spin, I mean how much they're claiming that this is not of any significance or not of any importance, that don't worry, the positions that the Ukrainians are losing are not strategically important, the spin. That's the only thing.
So what he means by spin is propaganda. What's the propagandistic angle that these outlets are using? It's like, if they're Ukrainian, obviously they're going to want to paint Ukraine in a good light. Freedom of expression? What's that in Ukraine?
That differs, but the reality that's consistent, and it's been consistent at least for the last 7 months. Almost on a daily basis, there were these.
No, I'm being honest. The Europeans cucked themselves. The US saw an opportunity and took it. Can't blame them, Scurvy. Yeah, true, but still, Scurvy's the bleeding heart type, so I can't help but feel bad.
Types of articles where the Russians have moved a little bit closer here, a little bit closer there, but the trend was the same. And many people, including in the Ukrainian high command, were not in agreement with these tactics of prioritizing Kursk over something else. There were many stories which we've covered on the channel with Ukrainian commanders who dared to voice their dissatisfaction with these tactics, and they were replaced immediately, just like that.
Replaced. And by replaced, you also mean executed. Silently. Yeah, when it comes to a corrupt government like the Ukrainian one, I wouldn't put it past them.
The bottom line is, there is no way back from this situation, and the Green T-shirt knows it. But again, he and his buddies in the EU are actively trying to convey a different impression to the world, and also, probably even more importantly, they're trying to convince Donald Trump that this is the best course of action. And this is why the Green T-shirt is now doing what he's doing in Kursk. He wants to signal to Donald Trump that he can still do it, that he's still relevant, that the Ukrainian army hasn't been defeated yet. My friends, let's move on to the next article, and this one it's again made in Green T-shirt land. More lies, more deception, and this time he targeted a port. Drones attack Russia's largest commercial seaport overnight.
Oh, that does not make any strategic sense whatsoever. You're just asking for retaliation if you're doing that.
Reports the Russian media. Drones attack Russia's largest
Bad retaliation.
commercial seaport, Ust-Luga, located in Leningrad Oblast during the night of the 3rd to 4th of January. Astra Telegram channel claimed that most of the drones targeting Leningrad Oblast overnight had been shot down near a terminal owned by the Russian logistics company Novatrans and the Ust-Luga seaport, according to sources. Earlier, the governor of Leningrad Oblast reported that Russian air defense units had shot down 4 UAVs, adding...
Let me guess, it was the UAVs that America provided. Fucking hell. Of course, Joe Biden had to try to screw us at the very end of his presidency. Thank God Trump is in now. At least the Ukrainian conflict might actually, get solved. The latest news is that almost 100,000 soldiers are deserting the Ukrainian army. Lord Green T-shirts... Oh, Zelensky. You're talking about Zelensky. Lord Green T-shirts elite army went to France to be trained, but guess what? They were trying to go AWOL in France. Oh, wow. Hey, you go, guys. Fuck the Ukrainian government.
That there were no casualties or damage. The reason I decided to cover this story is purely because this is exactly the sort of thing that the Green T-shirt has committed not to do. He criticizes the Russians almost on a daily basis for attacking Ukraine's energy.
Oh, goodbye, Trump, I'm gonna need more money. No, Zelensky, you're not gonna get any more money. Fuck you. Get fucked by a tranny in your asshole and your dick hole. Though I know you'd like that, you fucking faggot. That was my Trump impersonation. Hope you guys liked it.
Infrastructure. Because the Green T-shirt, he claims that's civilian infrastructure. He doesn't recognize the fact that the military makes just as much use out of that infrastructure as the civilians. And he's saying, oh, you see, this is what Putin does. He attacks the civilian infrastructure. But this is something I will never do. When I strike in Russia, I will strike military targets. Yeah, right. He's targeted a high-rise building, a luxury apartment building in Kazan. Why? Well, it wasn't a military target, you can best believe that, but...
Oh, so Zelensky is doing the Israel strategy now, are they? Well, it doesn't surprise me that Zelensky learned from the military where he actually comes from. For full disclosure, Zelensky was not in the Israeli military. I'm just saying that as a joke.
It got him the headlines. He was back into the headlines for 5 minutes, and that's important to him. Now he's
Yeah, he loves getting the bukkake of the spotlight. Green t-shirt loves that. In order to help get more funding for the stupid fucking war.
attacking this. Yesterday it was the threat at the, what was the name? I think it was Polkov Airport in St. Petersburg. This is exactly what he does. He just points the finger to the other side, hoping that nobody notices all of these things. And even if people notice, he assumes that all of us collectively just disregard all of this and put it off the back of, well, that's just Russian propaganda, we don't care about it, that's probably not even true. But
Turns out, green t-shirt, people are actually capable of doing their own research. And turns out, a lot of what you say is actually untrue and bullshit, trying to drum up propaganda and send more money to a foreign nation government that clearly hates us. That green toucan is getting our brothers and sisters killed for his masters. Yep. You said it, Henok.
But these things are true. These things are happening. These are exactly the sort of thing he does. Let's just wrap up the article. For me, I think the biggest takeaway is definitely Olaf Scholz. Because I still can't get past the fact that they brought up the Paris Agreement into the conversation. Based on the information that we have, the only way I can read it is that Olaf Scholz and Vladimir Putin, or at least Olaf Scholz in his mind, is planning to get something working with Vladimir Putin gas-wise, should he actually...
I knew it. Had to do with gas, like you said earlier, Henok. Well, once again, this is my first time watching this video, so... Whew. Pardon me for kind of making assumptions earlier on.
win the elections. And I think this is what Olaf Scholz wants to prepare for the German people, saying basically, look, if you vote for me again, because he's in a dire position, if you vote for me again, I promise you, Germany will be back up top. This is the only game.
That's not going to happen. Leftist politicians, they say, oh, we're going to be back on top if we just add more brown people into everything. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to kill your country if you keep doing that. And give those migrants free reign over the citizens born here by birth.
Game. This is the only play that he has left, and it's a desperate play. And I think if he actually does this, if I'm looking at this correctly, if he does this, he will have so many not friends, let's not call them enemies, in the European Union. They will absolutely...
Well, okay. What are they actually gonna care about that though? Italy might. Hungary maybe. I don't think Hungary is in the EU. Let me check my facts real quick. Is Hungary in the EU? Inconclusive. That's mine. That's from just the basic search I've done. Inconclusive.
They will eat him. They will not be in agreement with him over this. But again, I might be reading this completely wrong, but otherwise...
Alrighty, so that was our first video segment of the night. Interesting channel. So I assume he talks about European politics. If I want to be a bit more informed on the matter in the future. I'm just kind of giving my surface level thoughts on the matter. I'm sure someone like him would be able to debunk me on a moment's notice if I get things wrong. And I'd be more than welcome to learning about European politics. I forgot to mention, apart from the US, Qatar was supplying gas to the EU until their no corporate green initiative tax, which was going to make Qatar pay 5% to the EU. Love how Scurvy became a VTuber, but his avatar has one eye, so it doesn't know what to do. So it's always looking like he's edging and gooning while he's talking. AC, what the hell? Actually, the left eye function doesn't really work, so to speak. Let's see. Yeah, I could look at it like this. There we go. Anyways, let's get over to the first X account of the night. Before we do so, I'm just gonna check my notifications because I got a bunch over here. Okay, yep. Now that all those notifications are gone, so just gonna have the little bonus segment here for after this. So, alrighty. So we have this account here, America First Post on X. News and alerts from around the world from an America First perspective, not affiliated with any organization, podcast, or activist. So let's see what we have here. Let's see. Let's try to find something on Europe, not so much America. A lot has happened. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. I'm sorry. This takes precedence. Listen to this bullshit.
And the reason is that it has traditionally gotten preached as a...
Let me guess, she's a fucking Protestant. Only in Protestantism do they allow this shit. In Orthodoxy, this would not be allowed. She'd probably be excommunicated. Actually, no, she would be excommunicated.
kind of a triumphalist victory over all our enemies.
Wait, hold on. So they priest calls the Feast of Christ militaristic bullshit. Did she actually swear in the house of God? Oh my God!
Militaristic
That's
kind of
really
thing.
something.
And I think that has
1 Timothy 2:12.
no relationship
2:12,
whatsoever
my friend.
with the notion of unconditional love that I believe is at the heart of the gospel. And B, Jesus would be utterly horrified to be worshipped in that kind of way. And C,
Bitch, clearly you don't know the time when Christ drove out the Jews from the synagogue or the temple. Yeah, no, it's the temple. From synagogues are satanic buildings. From the temple. You clearly seem to forget that Christ had a whip on him and whipped all those fuckers out. I was about to say something way worse. But Christ himself is able to put his foot down when there's something so perverse, something so evil, that he has no other choice than to use force.
kind of militaristic bullshit has absolutely no place in church.
Oh, cursing in church. Wow, very, very, very professional of you. Bitch, I'm just gonna call you that. Yeah, in church, if you curse in church, that is a sin, right? And keep in mind, Scurvy curses a shit ton. But I would never curse in the house of God. Never. And the fact that this cunt right here is saying, oh, militaristic bullshit, the Feast of Christ. Oh, mein Gott. Theos mu. Every single person clapping is going to hell.
Please try to remember the rest of my sermon. So it has no place.
God, all these bitches who think they could be preaching annoys the shit out of me.
And I dislike it because it leads to all kinds of evil.
Cursing in the temple of God is disrespect akin to insulting the Lord. Fuck them all. Exactly.
Crap, like Christian nationalism.
Scurvy's not a nationalist, he's a monarchist. But I have a little nationalistic tendencies, minus things about the state, but it's more so about the people, so it's more so patriotism. There is a difference between patriotism and nationalism. I've gone over those differences before. But basically, patriotism and Christianity, and nationalism to an extent, very much are compatible.
Which I declare to be a heresy, which also leads...
Bitch, you're the fucking heresy! You're the fucking heresy!
Leads to all kinds of evil, divisive crap, like racism and colonialism.
Yep. God damn it. God fucking damn it. Racism and colonialism, that's all you need to know. This is a leftist church, therefore it is a church of Satan. Okay, so Los Angeles. Oh, this is actually kind of important. And it does kind of relate to what's been going on a little bit later. But here's the thing about this mayor in particular. While the whole fires were going on in Los Angeles, she was in fucking Ghana. I'm not lying to you about that. Okay. LAPD, Mel Gibson. We're trying to find more stuff on Europe. Huh. Don't care. Okay, this is something a bit more global news. China reports new cases of mutated monkeypox virus for the first time. Here we go again. Oh, wait, you're telling me that homosexuality is happening in China? Or that Chinese men are having sex with monkeys? Ugh. I thought monkeypox was largely gone. I thought, if people didn't do the gay butt sex with each other, maybe it would go away. Just maybe. Monkeypox? I know AIDS was like the big thing, but when it came to monkeypox, it seems to be like, one of those types of diseases. Some guy was like, oh, I'm gonna fuck a monkey in the ass, and why don't you know, he got sick. Blech. Blech.
Ew. Ew.
Blech. This is more American news. I might cover this another time. This is something a bit more positive. 116-year-old Brazilian nun becomes world's oldest person. That's cool. AFD's lesbian leader Alice Weidel tells Elon Musk Hitler was a communist. Oh boy, this is interesting. Hitler. So there's some truth in this. A lot of falsehoods in this. So, National Socialism, it has socialism in the name. I don't care if it's more right-wing. It's still a form of socialism. If she was being honest, she would say that Hitler was a form of Marxist, not a communist. Socialism and communism are different in a way. Especially when you put that national label on that socialism. Then it becomes different than regular socialism. You could say but it all falls under the umbrella of Marxism. That is correct. On a political level, like, that is correct. You could call him a Marxist. I do that sometimes. But saying that Hitler was a communist, that's factually incorrect. That's historically incorrect, and that's factually incorrect. And the fact that it's some dyke that's saying this too, it's like, I don't exactly have much trust in the AfD then now, do I? That's the supposed far-right nationalist party that Germany has been electing. And I mean, the irony is the fact that this is led by a lesbian. Oh boy, once she gets off the birth control, that's gonna change. Yes, Stalin was a fucking communist. If we're gonna compare like deeds or whatnot, Stalin was infinitely worse. Let's a lot of people will be, oh, Holodomor, that didn't happen, but it did. There's actual evidence that the Holodomor happened, and it was way worse than what was initially thought. Guess who started the Holodomor? You'll never guess who. Okay, let's keep scrolling. Let's see. Elon Musk posts video of himself advocating for Israel's greater good in Gaza. Currently, Israel has killed more than 46,000 Palestinians in Gaza, including 1,700 children. The real death toll is likely even higher, as over 11,160 people are missing. Ooh, boy. Ooh. Let's hear what Musk has to say.
Good in Israel. I mean, obviously, you cannot have people who, if they want to slaughter everyone in Israel, you got to stop that. There's no way.
Now, look, I don't like hummus one bit. I don't like Israel. I don't like hummus. But Israel's war crimes have been just absolutely vile. Like, I'm serious about that. They're absolutely vile, from bombing ambulances to Orthodox churches to, also kind of doing what Hummus and Hezi B are doing, hiding among the civilian population and, enacting shit there. Oh, why would I forget the USS Liberty, Hanok? Why would I forget that? But still.
Yeah. Those people either need to be killed or incarcerated, or they will simply try to kill more Israelis. This is what it amounts to, obviously. And they want to kill Americans too, by the way.
No shit, they want to kill Americans because America keeps funding this shit. Maybe if we stopped funding, Israel to annihilate a bunch of churches, children, and hospitals, maybe, just maybe, some people in the Middle East might not feel so strong of a hatred towards us. They might hate us for, other reasons that I wouldn't care about, and I just call them dysgenic sand fuckers.
Generally, like, Israel is referred to as the little Satan in America. We are the big Satan. That's what the Ayatollah calls us. A lot of what's happening there is...
And Elon, you don't see any problem with that? You don't see any fucking problem with us being called the big Satan and Israel being called the little Satan? It really should be the other way around. I don't care. It doesn't matter that we're the ones providing the funding. Israel's the one who's been waging the war. I don't like Israel, but I can't bring myself to care too much about Arab Palestinians either. Yeah, neither do I. But when it comes to the annihilation of children, like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And even then, I'm pretty sure, Hummus or Hezi B have also killed Israeli children, and that's also equally condemnable. Once again, the slaughter of children, I don't like.
People are being taught to hate, in Gaza from when they're children.
Gee, I wonder why that's the case. I wonder why that could be the case. It couldn't be that, their homes got destroyed, their parents got killed, their churches destroyed, and they don't have a sense of, like Christ can save them. So they join Hummus or Hezi B.
Toward to hate, and that's really the thing that needs to stop for there to be, long-term peace. Hopefully, you just cannot have the.
Do you want to know what would actually help bring about peace? If the American government stopped fucking funding Israel.
Kids be taught to hate from the moment they can talk. That's fundamental. So one has to do the difficult thing, which is to, yes, eliminate Hamas, exactly.
Okay, I don't like Hamas, or hummus, as I've been saying. I don't like that. I don't like Hummus or Hezbollah. I would love for both of those groups to be gone. They also screw over their native populations because they are radical Islamists. Mostly in Lebanon, because Lebanon was founded to be an Arabic-speaking Christian country. If Hezbollah did not rise up to basically be the military of Lebanon, or more so an indirect military of Lebanon, who knows? I might be able to do the whole passport bro thing in Lebanon. Have to learn some Arabic, but at least they're Orthodox over there. Not anymore. Not in this fucking timeline. The way that you get rid of these people, right? The people are going to be the ones who have to take care of that problem. Christians. A 10th crusade, so to speak.
I think also going forward, anyone who's teaching hatred in Gaza or elsewhere, they need to stop.
Like AC. The thing is, the Hezbollah, they're all. I mean, okay. Let me think this through a little bit before I make an ass of myself. So, Israel is bombing Orthodox churches, right? I fucking hate that. Most of the time, Hezbollah isn't even in those churches. They don't want to step foot in them. Some of the real scumfuckers in there absolutely would. So some that were destroyed, which is still an atrocity, mind you, had Hezbollah people in it. And Israel is trying to use those few examples to basically just destroy Christianity in Lebanon. Damn it, AC, I'm trying to make a point here. They bomb everything that doesn't have a star. Yeah, and they certainly love to bomb things that have crosses. An actual good symbol. But getting back to my point here, Israel is using the few times that strategy actually worked to justify eliminating Christianity in the Middle East. They are trying to expand to a greater Israel. When in reality, the Holy Land that they are on, that they are defiling, belongs to Christians.
Doing that can't be acceptable. We have to stop. Kids being taught to hate America.
Yeah, I don't like these leftists either. I don't like these pro-Palestine leftists. They want to bring fucking Sharia law over here. That's what they're trying to do. They don't know it, but they are. That's what they're trying to fucking do. Hasabullah, I know who you're talking about, AC. Poor guy. He has
in America.
A similar name.
So Then the third thing that's also very important is that there has to be economic prosperity in Gaza. So this is very difficult. Provided kids are not taught to hate and there's long-term prosperity, I think there will be peace in Gaza. An example of that, after World War II, with Germany and Japan, they were defeated. They obviously did terrible things, but
The Japanese more so, but I'd rather not get a ribbing from Sultan or Meg. No, I'm joking. I'd probably get more of a ribbing from Sultanor if I talked about Germany than I did Japan.
changed the education system. And unlike World War I, we helped rebuild Japan and Germany. The Marshall Plan.
Oh, right. That rebuilding of Japan in particular, really, it was great in the short term. I mean, if it weren't for the rebuilding, we wouldn't have, like, really good anime movies, but in a political context, like, look at what's happening to Japan, like, record low birth rates. I mean, that Japanese scholar theorizes that Japan is going to basically make itself go extinct. The Japanese population might go extinct. Yeah. Real worth it to bring democracy to Japan.
Instead of exacting vengeance, America insisted we're going to help rebuild Germany, we're going to help rebuild Japan, and now they're our allies.
Look at what happened to Germany. Look at what happened to Germany. We just went over it. Kinda.
And there's been no war ever since.
Okay. I'll be right back. Then we'll continue with this a little bit longer, and then we'll get to our next video of the night. I am back. Let's keep going. Scroll down here. Oh, wow. So it looks like Telegram is not going to be as encrypted as we thought it was. I don't have a Telegram account, by the way. House passes bill to sanction ICC for arrest warrant for Netanyahu over Gaza war crimes. Wow. Fucking course America would do something like that. We're basically sucking Netanyahu's dick. But let's ask Grok for this. What specific sanctions? Let's see if it's actually correct. So it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, Thomas Massey, he's one of the few based people in the American government, condemns House for passing bill to protect Netanyahu. The U.S. House did only one thing today. We passed a bill to protect Israeli PM Netanyahu from the International Criminal Court. I voted present. The ICC has no authority in the United States, but we should not get involved in disputes between other countries. Focus on America. Huh. Yep. Then we have a bunch of stuff related to, Trump's jokes about, taking over Canada and Greenland. Fun fact, Greenland does not have an army. It does not have a military. So, yeah, it's ripe for conquering. I'm surprised no one ever thought about, conquering it. Oh, wait, Democrat Louisiana Mayor Tyron Trong arrested for drug trafficking, firearms offenses, and soliciting a prostitute. Wow! Whew! That's something else right there, fellas. Anyways, just gonna check my notifications again. I'll just send another reminder. Stream is still happening. Oh wait, that's my x.com link. Yeah, let me just send the link again. Stream is. Oh wait, did I? Oh wait. There we go. Just had the wrong thing on there. Stream is still going on.
To get started with
I don't want to listen to the fucking orange juice blender video again. Okay. Let's get to our next video of the night. Okay, there we go. There we are. Oy vey, guys, Scurvy, I need my shekels. Greenland is just a wish version of Russia. It got snow-resistant people with no bears. It's freedom o'clock, Greenland. But let's go over to another part of the world, Australia. This is going to be a bit more funny, so to speak, with some profound points in there as well. We have watching feminists struggle with this much cope should be a national sport. And we are going to speed up the video a little bit. 1.3 should be fine.
You're crying because you didn't get your way, and you're coping. You're coping. Instead of being an adult and saying, we failed, we opened a business knowing the market was bad, we opened a business that was going to be fringe and a small segment, no, you got to blame everybody else, just like most women do. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, gang. Welcome to the program. Appreciate you guys being here with me today. I've spent the last several days not feeling well. Not sure if I ate something kind of funky or if I got a norovirus or...
Let's skip.
That the first feminist-only sports bar closed in just 4 months. It's not that the feminists fail. I mean, that is funny. Let's face it. The best part is...
First off, who the fuck in Australia would want to go to a girls-only sports bar? That sounds like... That's like a guys-only nail salon. It just doesn't work. It's not going to make money. There's not enough gay men that could supply for that kind of business unless you're in, Los Angeles. But as we all know, Sodom and Gomorrah has just been burning down. But let's see. There's not an audience for this. Chicks only go to sports bars because guys go there.
The coping. Again.
Or chicks just go to anywhere because guys are there. She should have just called it a lesbian bar to make more money. Les bar for short.
No accountability. Never take any accountability for any failure, any moment to learn. No. It's a good thing that the feminist bar failed. Oh, these feminists. Oh, you just... the feminists. If you remember, about 4 years ago, was it? Maybe it was longer than that. When was it? 2019. So it was 5 years ago now. I did this story when it came out 5 years ago. I remember this. Now, this is just a...
I remember this too. The cafe that charged a man tax and gave women priority seating is going out of business. I remember this. Oh, man, I'm glad that place closed down. I'm so glad. No misandry here, people.
It's a flashback. We got a new story to talk about. But this is the old story. Cafe that charged a man tax and gave women priority seating went out of business. Well, shocking.
Well, obviously that cafe didn't survive for very long. It's a very misandrous business model. Who would want to go to something with that many fag flags in there?
And of course, we got all the
I wouldn't.
LGBT rainbow flags, and they lesbian-owned.
It's not even the... Wait, it's a... It's a lesbian-owned shop. That's even worse.
Vegan coffee shop in Australia. Spoiler alert, this first women's female bar was also in Australia and it failed. Boy, the feminism down there just isn't learning very quickly, are they? So anyway, this coffee shop lasted a couple of years. It was called the Handsome Her. It was a space for women by women. Because of sexism, the cafe basically closed down. A vegan lesbian coffee shop. Well, I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you, that didn't go well. So now Australia's first women's sports bar, the Ladies League on Sydney's Oxford Street, closes after 4 months, cites cost of living crisis.
Well, shit, maybe you shouldn't have started the fucking bar. You knew, if you had any sense of accountability on you, you would know that, okay, this is a I'm making a clear, stupid decision to cash in on a niche that nobody has an interest in during a time when cost of living is at an all-time high. That's a special kind of retardation right there.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, you've only been open 4 months. We've had a cost of living crisis for the last, 3 years since the coup.
4 years.
And all of a sudden, again, let's not look internally why we failed. Let's blame it on...
You know, if you think about it, it's soon going to be 5 years. 5 years to flatten the curve.
On all the things other than ourselves. Boy, you can tell this place was run by women. But the better story is going to be like...
Lesbians make a stew and eat their poo. I can't name the song because it has the faggot word on, and also YouTube. AC says she started the bar with the funds to keep it running for 4 months at most. She would have saved enough for a year at least. Wow. Yeah. Women.
No eggs. Empty egg carton. You don't have any eggs. No eggs. Empty egg carton. You don't have any eggs.
The Ladies League is closing, but it wasn't a failure. Spoiler alert, it totally was a failure. Oh, Lord. Anyway, Sydney Bar.
How was it not a failure? Like, I keep repeating myself here, and I'm not going to do it again. I'm actually not going to do it again. But, once again, fuck it, I will. A niche that nobody has an interest in during a time where everybody is inside, a time where cost of living is at an all-time high, especially in Western countries. Why do you think more white guys are moving to Thailand or Southeast Asia or Eastern Europe? Don't worry, Hanok. I'll play it again. Hanok, the button. But why do you think something like this would work? The fucking women's sports bar.
Hailed for being the first of its kind in Australia, has shut its doors for good, blaming the difficult economic climate for its closure. Women's sports bar. Now, here's the funny thing, right? This women's bar was a women's bar started by women, kind of tailored around women, for women to watch women's sports. I got a button for that. Oh, no. Nobody likes women's sports. A women's sport.
Oh, it's sexist to not like women's sports. As you can see, it's me, World of T-shirts, and I am saying this so I can help lose my virginity. Anyways, World of T-shirts, jokes aside. Oh boy. Oh boy. Seriously, who would actually want to watch women's sports?
Sports bars become the latest business to fall victim to the cost of living crisis. Okay. Shutting up shop after just 4 months in operation. The Ladies League, located on nightlife hotspot Oxford Street in Sydney's Darlinghurst. We'll talk more about the location. That actually is important.
I'm thinking of Africa. The divorce rates between white men and black women are lowest out of all the marriage groups, either interracial or not. Honestly, Ghana might be your best chance, Rexus. Because it's actually nicer in the big cities, from what I hear. They wanted to be the exception. They thought this was going to be their legendary achievement. That's the thing. These feminist whores are always like, oh, it's always, oh my god, it's always, it's always men's fault. But they never realize that, the statistics are always against them.
Important. Aim to shine a spotlight on women's sports by playing matches from open till close. In a statement posted on Instagram on New Year's Day, the first of its kind.
Hold on, I'm just going to take one more sip of my booze, and then I'm going to put it away. I'll be right back. Give me like a minute. Scurvy is back. It's gonna calibrate VTube Studio. And there we are.
Bar announced with a heavy heart it would not reopen its doors this year. While we knew going in the cost of living pressures have impacted how patrons spend, this is something we wanted to do for women's sports. Okay, hold on. Right there, pause. Okay, you knew the cost of living pressures were impacting people going to bars. You said that verbatim. It is a quote. But you said we still wanted to do it for women's sport. Okay, well, you paid the price because people don't like women's sport.
That's the thing. Would you rather watch prime-aged guys play sports or prime-aged women play sports. One is more impressive than the other. One is more for eye candy, if you're into that, than the other.
And just because you want to promote something, great. Look at your money that you spent and that you wasted. I guess one of the women mortgaged her land because, spoiler alert, the bank wouldn't give them a loan. So I guess she got a lien on her property to do this, and she might now lose her property because of it. Oopsie. The market is what it is. And if you want to promote something, that's fine. You want to promote feminism and women's sport, fine. But when you fail at it, understand it was a failed promotion. Take accountability for your actions. But wait, they don't. She said, we knew we had a fantastic product on offer. But unfortunately, as a small business, we couldn't hold on any longer to try new approaches. Again,
what approaches could you do as this kind of business? Let guys in the fray? I don't know how many trainees there are in Sydney, but I'm not sure they're the kind of crowd you'd want at this kind of bar.
I could say spoiler alert 30 times in this video. Spoiler alert. If it was a fantastic product, you would have sold it and you'd be successful. See, women like to do this thing where they spin things. Oh, I didn't really cheat on you. It's just you weren't there for me. You were always working, so I fell into another man's arms. But it wasn't cheating. It's your fault. Well, you were home all the time, spending time with me, but you weren't making any money. So I left you for a man with money. See, it's always the other person's fault. Well, we had a fantastic product, but it's everybody else's fault. We had full belief we would not be in this position at this early stage. Well, that's called delusion. Welcome to the real world. We have nothing but gratitude for everyone that supported us.
Welcome to delusion.
No eggs. No empty egg carton. You don't have any eggs. How many eggs? No eggs. No empty egg carton. You don't have any eggs. Have any eggs?
And apologize for the result. Not enough people supported you, so there you go. They say the Ladies League said it hoped its closure would not discourage anyone from opening a venue following a similar concept in the future. Adding the support it felt from the community was amazing. Okay, so you felt amazing community support, you just felt no community money. This is what...
That's the thing. Do you want to know what this reminds me of, guys? If I were to use a gaming example? Concord. A bunch of leftists were going like... They were going like that. They thought, oh, let's make this hero shooter where all the characters are fucking ugly and fat. And, everybody's gonna buy our game. Everybody's gonna buy our game. No, nobody bought Concord. It's a dead game. It's the same thing with this bar, too. They were going... And they thought this was such a great idea, but turns out the leftists don't go to sports bars. They don't go to places like a sports bar.
But this is feminism 101. This is leftism, wokeism 101. Yay, we want empowered females in the movies. Oh, we're not going to go watch them. We're not going to give you money for it, but we'll cheer you on. Oh, yay, this company came out for this diverse thing that only we find important. Oh, no, there's a boycott and a backlash, and the business is losing money. But you still better support our cause. Who cares if you go bankrupt? Just borrow more money, but support our cause. This is literally all...
Do you want to know how long it took for Concord to, be developed? 8 years. 8 fucking years it took to develop Concord, and it was dead on arrival. The same thing with the Ladies League. Yep. Though instead of about a month, it took 4 months because the Dykes had some extra funding. Oh, man.
All feminism does. They support things by screaming about it on the internet. They support things by marching and protesting. They just don't pull out any money for it.
Yep. Once again, look at Concord. Look at Dustborn. Though with Dustborn, it was funded by the government, so it doesn't matter if the game made a profit or not. The government has infinite money.
Why is that? Because feminists don't really have that much money. Well, we're gonna talk about the Ladies League is closing, but it wasn't a failure. The
What?
business closing in just 4 months was an absolute
It was
success.
a failure.
Not for the people opening it, not for the people patronizing it, but for
They go to normal clubs and bars. They hate to admit it, but they like to go to those places than an exclusive, less be on area. Dustborn made people more money due to content rather than revenue from purchases. Yes, it made Dustborn got people money, but not the developers. Not the developers. It was the people covering the game, like Chaz. If you make strong woman characters with no personality, you better make her hot, as it will be the only thing keeping you afloat for like 5 weeks. Hey, that reminded me of Stellar Blade. But basically, nobody talked about the game until like the end of 2024. Wow, I was right. Electric Underground was right about Stellar Blade, and same with Scurvy for covering it.
the women's message. It sends a message. Oh, yes, what a success. All right, we're going to jump into this portion. Let me first give a shout out to the awesome sponsor of this video.
And we're going to skip the sponsorship. It's a good sponsorship too, mind you.
But it wasn't a failure, says Lydia.
Chaz admitted to goon to Dustborn characters. Ah, no, Chaz!
Okay, this is the best part of the video. This is the cope. The cope and seethe. The cope and seethe, I tell you. This week, Australia's first and only women's sports bar closed. The Ladies League was open for 5 months. They say 5. The other story said 4 before the Christmas break and have canceled their plans to reopen. Okay, here we go. The news organizations that have never before cared about women's sports or female-owned business.
Counter.
Not to Joker, but to this article right here. Nobody cares about women's sports. It's really boring to watch. There's a reason why the Daily Wire, the Daily Wire guys, say what you want about them, made it as like a punishment for losing some sort of game that they were forced to watch. The guy who lost was forced to watch a WNBA game. That guy who lost was Matt Walsh. He hated it. It was boring. There's no hype around the teams. They're like the only real recognizable player is Caitlin Clark. There's not really a history behind it like the NBA. So yeah, the WNBA is kind of gay.
Businesses are suddenly dedicated to ensuring the entire nation knows about the closure of.
And therefore, nobody wants to watch women's sports.
The Ladies League. First of all, it's always the first. This is the first woman's movie directed by a woman. This is the first movie directed by a black woman, a lesbian, LGHD TV of power. This is the first music album produced ever by a basket-weaving woman who's they, thems. It's always about the first women. And they had a story about this when the first women's bar opened. But now that they're mentioning that it's closed, oh, you're angry. How dare you point out women's failures, you evil.
How dare you recognize patterns and notice them? How dare you guys? How
news
dare
people that
you?
are also lefty and totally on our side 99% of the time. She said, predictably, the trolls have...
How dare you point out Concord for failing? How dare you, gamers?
...have crawled out of the woodwork. Insults ready to fling, all laden with misogyny and homophobia. So...
Yeah, that's the thing. Fucking course it was a faggot bar. Fucking course.
Us making fun of a failed business of women, by women, for women. Now we're all the things all of a sudden. How predictable.
Always.
None of their sexist words are worth repeating. But the trolling has been so intense that the Ladies League was forced to switch their social media accounts to private within 24 hours of their announcement.
Emotional damage.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Genuine question. Okay, let's have a conversation. If I came out and said, I am opening a men's bar, it's called the Men's League, and it's for men, by men, about men. We're only playing men's sports. We're highlighting manliness. There's a cigar lounge and a whiskey bar, and yeah, women are kind of welcome, but we're probably not going to make you feel very comfortable. Oh, the and the screeching and the anger would be off the charts. And when it failed, every feminist would be posting about it and screaming and laughing and having a great.
This is what the feminists would be saying if this were to happen in an alternate timeline.
But us.
Oh, I'm about to bust in his mouth.
But us. Feed me, Darth. Feed my home.
Time at the failure. So when a bunch of, LGHD TV women, feminists, come out and say we're making a ladies bar for focuses on women and women's sports and women and inclusive women's space, and it fails, and the men laugh at you, somehow that's unfair? I don't think so. We know you would be playing it exactly the same, calling us a bunch of loser incel, misogynists because we failed, and you would be parading up and down the streets laughing at men. So yes, we're going to do the same.
Of course they'd go.
And you can cry all you want about it, but face it, you'd be doing the exact same thing. So don't pretend like you're somehow above it. She says that, they say, Australia loves an Aussie battler, unless they're a woman.
How did that one go again? But the fucking nut. That's how that button goes.
Oh, yes.
Rug.
Australia, the permanent anti-feminist state. Australia's done more
What?
for feminism and women than probably all the other countries combined.
And Australia has also been going through it really bad because of how feminist it is. Remember when Carabiner called in? You kind of explained all that to me a while back. It's bad. It's fucking bad.
Fine. Don't even start with your bullshit. But because you didn't get your way, you're going to start crying, the Australians hate feminism. Shut up.
No, they don't. The Australians love feminism. So it seems. Like, I don't know how to describe feminism in Australia. Like, that's the state religion, is feminism.
I actually decided to make my channel, this channel, Better Bachelor, later to be branded Odd Man Out because I do the news over on Rumble. I started Better Bachelor. Do you know why? Because of Australia.
Huh.
I had finished my 15 or 16 month hitchhiking, backpacking tour around the globe, and I got to Australia, and the first thing I realized, like, oh my God, everybody here is a feminist. The newspaper articles were about feminism and anti-men, the commercials, the TV shows, everything.
Oh, not to mention, do you guys remember how bad Australia was when it came to COVID restrictions? They were making literal fucking camps for people who got infected with COVID because they were so concerned about the coof. Like, I know I had a pretty shitty time during the lockdowns, but the people in Australia, oh my God, I really do feel bad for them that they had to go through all that.
Was anti-man, yay women. That happened to me when I landed in Australia. So don't tell me Australia is the cutting edge of bullshit feminism. So don't even tell me now, all of a sudden, oh, we're being persecuted in Australia.
What?
Shut up. You're crying because you didn't get your way, and you're coping. You're coping. Instead of being an adult and saying, we failed, we opened a business knowing the market was bad, we opened a business that was going to be fringe and very small segment, no, you got to blame everybody else, just like most women do. It's called accountability. Look it up, learn it, memorize it. Breathe it in and make it part of your life.
They're never going to do that. They're feminists.
Because that's the only way you're going to get anywhere in life. This crying, whining thing is getting old very quickly, and people are onto it. You had your 5 or 8 years of it. Now grow up. And this is why I have hope. This is why I have hope for the gaming industry. The gaming industry says either buy, if you don't like our product, don't buy it. Oh my God, why did we fail and sell no copies? Because we didn't like your product. And you said if we don't like your product, don't buy it. So we didn't. Why is the movie industry failing? Why is the music industry failing? Why are TV shows failing? Why are the Golden Globes and awards?
There's like this clip of Alyssa Mercante that was going around. I was like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. We've been abiding by your advice, Alyssa. And look at what's happening to the gaming industry.
Shows failing. They're all failing because you say, look, you're going to like our product or you're a bad person.
I don't think things are going to be getting better for like many years, but it's like, hey, better to emulate old games or buy old games or, some actual good non-woke stuff than to keep funding for, woke nonsense.
Well, you're not gonna like shame people into liking your product. They're just gonna say, no, I'm good, thank you, and they'll keep their money.
Who would win as the best feminist country? UK, Canada, or Australia? I think Australia. UK, the UK, like, look at what's going on in England, like, with all the grape gangs.
So this bar failed, and movies failed. All the things are failing because you want to put your messaging in it, and then say if we don't consume it, we're I don't know, misogynist or whatever. It's not going to work. So then you can stand on your high and mighty feminist principles. Go for it, please do. And then you can go bankrupt. Or you can come back down into reality where the rest of us live and maybe make some money and be profitable. Those are your choices. You can't force us to consume. And so you can call us all the names. You can call us all the... It doesn't matter. You'll fail. And again, I keep hopping back to this, but this is, again, Facebook is struggling. And they're like, we're going to open up free speech again, and we're going to stop censoring, and we're going to let you talk about politics again, and we're going to let you talk about all these things that we shut off from you. Why? Money. It's all about the money, and they're out of it. Meta's realizing the writing on the wall.
Yep, if Facebook wants to survive in the upcoming administration, it's like, oh yeah, of course we have to start sucking off the current government, otherwise our platform is going to go under, and all this stuff that I built, the metaverse and all this other faggot shit that I've done, that's gonna go away, and I'm gonna be destitute with all my $1 million mansions, and I'd be forced to sell one of them.
And you can say, well, I'm going to hold to my principles.
And all my yachts.
Welcome to bankruptcy. They say Australia loves to pretend it's a nation of the fair go of the Aussie battler. We love the underdog, and we love to watch someone being knocked down only to get back up again. But the one thing we love more than just about anything is to laugh at a woman when they're down. No place is like that. Nowhere on the planet outside of the Middle East is like that. In all the Western worlds, when a woman is knocked down, it's, oh, men are bad. How can we help women? We need to promote women. We need to get women in STEM, and we need to get women in college. We need to get women.
I bet Undead Chronic will be monetized in February. That honestly depends. So the thing is, if Trump starts to go after Section 230, I forget what act, and it's like, okay, no, you can't suppress people for their political opinions. You can't suppress monetization for their opinions either. If they go after that, that's a definite possibility that Chronic could be monetized again. Then I could get monetized too. And if they don't monetize me, well, that's a legal case that I could easily win. That's if I get enough subscribers and watch time.
Women directors, we need to show strong, empowered female fighters that can throw around a 250-pound muscular dude, and a little 110-pound Asian can flip her over his shoulders. There's no place on the globe like that anymore. This is just bullshit. This is you whining and crying. That's what it is. That's it. There's nowhere in the Western globe that's, oh, society just hammers women when they're down. Shut up. Shut up, feminist. Oh, gosh, this article, the funny thing is I enjoy this because I'm not genuinely mad. I'm actually thrilled, and I find this funny. But what makes me so angry is that just time after time after time, it's, oh, we're being persecuted. Women are not at the top of everything. A woman failed at something. Oh, we're being persecuted. Why is society so anti-woman? Because a woman failed. I love this. It's just... Oh.
So, it's some weird collectivist shit that women like to do, and... Once again, it all goes back to mate guarding and virtue signaling and female nature. The Trumpster won't probably do that, Scurvy. Well, honestly, there's a chance that he could. There's a chance. It's like what Hammerhand said. A lot of the platforms, they started to lower their censorship because Trump got elected. So there's definitely a good chance if Facebook is doing what X is doing, and I know I made my video on X this week as well, and it was pretty critical of it. But if more social media platforms are starting to pull back the censorship, that's a good thing. That's a fucking good thing.
Feminist tears. Oh, they're so salty and delicious. She said it's impossible to say that the Ladies' League closed solely because it only showed women's sports. To do so would ignore the death of Oxford Street, a once thriving queer cultural space.
What the fuck does faggotry have to do with any of this? When I was listening to this at the gym, I was thinking, like, what the fuck does faggotry have to do with this? Have you noticed anything along that in regards to changes in your views and stats since Trump got elected? I've actually gotten I've gotten a few more subscribers, and more people are starting to view my stuff too. But that's also because I've also started posting the links onto X as well. But I do think that my reach has increased a little bit. And for a small channel like me, hey, that's great. After all the damage they did to creators here, fuck them. Thank God it died.
That has been neglected by the city of Sydney and plagued by years of construction and development. Long-established businesses on the Strip are struggling to make ends meet. Okay, so...
I don't care.
You say it's impossible that the Ladies' League closed because it only showed women's sports. That couldn't be it. It's impossible that people wouldn't be interested in women's sports. What can we blame it on? And it is on Oxford Street, a once thriving queer cultural space that has been neglected by the city of Sydney. So you're telling me that this street, where this bar was, and all this culture around the LGHD TV, that area's falling into disrepair.
Rated ARG for pirates. Fuck you!
That's what I have to say to the quote-unquote queer district of Sydney.
Repair? That the businesses are closing? That it's not thriving? I wonder why that is. Could it be that people don't care anymore, and people aren't giving it money, including the patrons that are part of the LGHD TV community? That they're...
As we all know, leftists and faggots don't actually fund any of the things they support.
Even saying, you know what, I'm not feeling this anymore. And now you're crying that the city of Sydney is not artificially inflating it with giveaways, with freebies, with tax dollars. Well, color me shocked. It's almost like you think you deserve something for just existing. That's not how the real world works. And wow, look at all the feminists.
Gentlemen, clap for the closing of a rainbow business.
You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
Yeah, that's what the thoughts that Dr. Lexus had for that bar.
Suddenly discovering that you have to maybe cater and sell your product to more than 3% of the country to survive. This is how brands thrive or survive or fail. And she's like, we're not getting any giveaways.
That was not Scurvy clapping.
She
No,
says
that was
Cafe
me
Frida's
clapping.
much-loved Oxford Street Cafe and Bar announced their closure in December, writing on Instagram that lockout laws and the bug have gutted what used to be the epicenter of Sydney's nightlife. They are
Wait.
one of thousands of...
Lockout laws? Where? Lockout laws? You mean lockdown laws? Huh, where is it?
Australian businesses that closed their doors in 2024. Wait, are you blaming this on lockdowns? And
They call it lockouts. No, they're called lockdowns. Way to weasel your way past what they were actually called.
the bug as a feminist leftist? Because it was the lefties that were saying close businesses. It was the lefties that were saying stay home.
Wow!
It was the lefties say wear masks. It was
Color me surprised! The thing that ruined my last 2 years of undergrad. Wow! Except for like the last 2 months of it. And even then, with other stuff going on in Scurvy's life at that time, it was more like just a month that I actually had a normal college experience.
was the lefties saying, if you don't agree with me, throw them in internment camps. That was the left. You're obviously the left. So now are you blaming it on your own policies? Because I bet, I haven't looked this up. I know some of you in the comments will tell me, I bet Sydney is a full-on lefty government. And they were full-on lefty when they locked everything down. And they were full-on lefty when they implemented all these policies. So are you now complaining about the government that you elected?
Yes, they are.
Shocking and hard to believe. Also, can you tell I'm being sarcastic? The Ladies League may have closed, but it was not by any means a failure.
How was it not
the
a
lady lost
failure?
her investment property and couldn't get a loan from the bank and invested it in this business, and it closed in 3 months. So if it wasn't a failure, are you going to call that a success? Oh, spin your narrative, feminists. Spin your tales of insanity. It was the culmination of years of effort from dedicated hospitality workers and sports fans who believe they deserved a seat at the table. Okay, so the culmination...
Why do they think they deserve a seat at the table? They really don't. They don't deserve shit. They are still coping and seething. That is correct, Hanok. Of course they are. I should add that as a button if I want to do more. If I want to have more. Probably could. That would be a button. You are coping and seething. Well, you know what? You know what? We're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna play that little song. We're gonna play that little song because it's so perfect. There we go. We have the song loaded here.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're
Coping and seething. Truth is clothing, and now you are molding. You're coping so hard. Coping and seething.
You are coping.
Okay, anyways, let's get back to that.
Culmination of years of effort and dedicated hospitality failed in 3 months. Are you saying the effort is what mattered? Well, good for you. That is why you will fail. That is why you will always fail. If anything, the Ladies League proved that there's an appetite for such dedicated women's sports bars.
Let's blow those whining women back to the dark ages right where they belong.
In Sydney's. Scratch that, in Australia. In addition to the many Sydney-siders disappointed about the closure, the venue's Instagram comments are filled with countless interstaters who plan to pop by the Ladies League during a Sydney trip.
Right. A whole bunch of other leftists would suddenly take a trip to Australia to go to some women's bar. Right. Not go look at some of the natural wonders that Australia has to offer, or just romp around Sydney in general.
Trip. The Ladies League made Australian history just by opening its doors, and the electricity it brought to the city won't be forgotten. The women behind the bar demonstrate the same dedication, passion, and sheer tenacity that we see in...
This is something else I have to say to this dyke bar.
Oh, you gonna cry?
women's sport, and I'm certain it's not the last we'll see of them. Really? Really?
Really?
Because here she says, it may have closed, but was not by any means a failure. Culmination from all
Really,
this, and it
fella?
showed that there's an appetite for women's sports bars in Sydney's. How did it show that there's an appetite for a dedicated women's sports bar in Sydney when it closed after 3 or 4 months? How is that an appetite? This is why you can't leave the world.
Oh, right. Like the Concord players have an appetite to still play Concord. Wow. It's so surprising, guys. I'm so surprised. You know that there's the Concord subreddit still has people posting in it, and it's not just like this game, this game is dead. It's like, oh, these people are still trying to cope. I was listening to a Smug Alana video about exactly that.
In women's hands. I genuinely mean that. I'm gonna get hate. I'm gonna get hate for saying that. But women like this, you cannot leave the world in their hands. You need somebody that can say, you know what?
You know what I have to say to feminists?
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay?
This was bad business planning. It was bad financials. It was a bad plan. It was a bad idea that focused on too small of a niche product for too small of a market.
Mm-hmm.
It went into an area that is not seeing many people come around anymore because of the lockdowns. It was a bad plan from start to end. You need to be able to take that accountability and to be able to say that to yourself. It's hard. I know. It sucks. There's many times I've said, oh man, I did this. That was a bad idea. Oh, I was so stupid for doing this. It's called accountability. It's painful. It sucks. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You got to take your lumps and you say, oh man, I was so stupid for doing this, but I'm going to recover. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to make 100 or 1,000 more mistakes in my life. But at least, hopefully, I won't make the same one again, and I'll learn from this.
Yes, kid.
That's
Yes,
how the people
kid.
that start with nothing get to be millionaires or billionaires. They fail a hell of a lot of times. It doesn't just work and work and work.
Yep.
But when you fail and you...
It's success from the stories that I've read. It's a lot, and I mean a lot of failure. But then, through those failures, they learn, okay, this is what works, this is what doesn't. Let's focus on what works, and let's try to do what works, but make it better. They gain they have the understanding of how something works, to the point where they can break the rules.
your response to that is, well, it's not my fault. It's the city's fault. It's men's fault. Misogynist's fault. It's the bug in the lockdown's fault. It was the bank not giving me the loan fault. You are going to have a life of failure. You're never going to be happy. You'll never find success. You will blame every failure on everybody else, and you will always feel like you're a victim of the system. Forever. In perpetuity. Minorities that claim the system's against them, women that claim the system's, and I'll say this much, white men that claim the system is against them, and whoa, and there's nothing I can do about this, you will be destined to fail, even if you're a white dude. But what you can do is look for ways to become successful. Look for the cracks and the gaps in the machine and get in there and do something about it. Whether that's smart, if you say, oh, I wanted to get into corporate America and no one will let me in because they're all in the DEI and the whatever. Okay, great. I get you. Maybe that is a fact. Now, you can spend the next 3 or 4 years crying up.
Certainly a factor for me. There was a job listing that was tailor-made for Scurvy. Didn't even get a chance for an interview. Nope, didn't get one. Not one bit. I'm still gonna try and find something. I need to make some money
about it. Or you can say, I'm going to make a small product or small business in an area that's conservative or rural, and I'm going to come up with a new tractor part because I'm an engineer. Or I'm going to come up with a new software to help farmers track rain cycles, whatever.
All right. I'm not half Arab. I'm like a 6th Iranian.
There's always a gap you can fill. And creative people do that, and whiners, they whine. These women, the LGBT, DEI, anybody that feels, oh, I'm being persecuted, you got to find a gap, and you got to do something to succeed. These women will never succeed. This writer, this Lydia Jupp, when she gets laid off because the Star Observer, because it's right here, Fund Australia is home of LGBT TV and journalism, so this is like, it's an activist website.
Scurvy, you can make money. Blend yourself so with that we can drink. Oh, is that all I'm worth to you guys?
When they go flop and they're not able to sell ads on it anymore, and when she's not able to get paid as a journalist anymore, she's going to go out there and she's going to be complaining about how, I'm being persecuted because nobody supports independent journalism. No, you got to put out good product. She'll fall into the same lines. Oh, I'm a victim and the world's against me. All these people will all they do is find failure. They revel in it. They scream that it's the world's problem.
Imagine if journalists got laid off because AI started making stories from Twitter feeds and local news videos. That's the cracks and gaps in the system. I see what you mean, Rug. No, my skin is not that dark. It is closer to white than it is to brown. Like, it's way closer to white than it is to brown.
That they suffer while the rest of us improve. We move on. We get to...
You are an emergency booze at best, Enoch. That's rude.
Life, and we win. So congratulations, feminists. You lost on so many ways and so many levels, not only with your bar failing, but this story. Because
anyways, that's the end of that. Wowza canowza. That really was quite the video. But also, just goes to show how much of a clown hole Australia is. Anyways, I'll be back. If you want to donate, just donate at Cashapp/cash ScurvyRum. I'll be right back. I am back. Before we get on to our next segment, just had to check my notifications. As you can see, we actually have a little bit of a bonus segment for you guys. So before we get to our next one, so we have this this tweet from the aristocratic utensil here, and I made a little comment on here too that Spoon liked. So we have this song called Oy Vey, Shut It Down. I wonder what this could be about. Oh wait, let's see. Even Christos chose grapes to make wine instead of orange juice. Oh my God, don't blaspheme. Imagine our history if Christos turned water into orange juice. Orange juice is woman to make mimosas. To make mimosas. Wow. I'd be famous if that was the case. Anyways, well, let's play it.
Always know when you get
close to the viper's den, you can hear them scheming.
Don't even
just the hornet's nest will descend upon you with the shock and awe.
They fudge the scores,
they fund the wars,
Italian, you in Waterloo, loser.
I can't sing like he does.
To hoax it all like each pathogenic menace they design. Don't believe these lying eyes, there's no conspiracy comprised of lies and history's alibis. This timeline isn't right. Oy vey, shut it down. The Goyim don't do much. We rule the land with mighty hands that have the Midas touch. Don't meet Meshuggah for noticing a trend. There's certain things
I know the font.
So sing them all instead. They post online that being a Caucasian is fine. Prepare to be flayed alive completely. And if you try to claim that space is fake and gay,
even though it's not,
you with obscene ringing sounds. Careful, don't say that boys wearing skirts playing sports against your daughters is retarded. It's only a fad when every single ad depicts diversity in every home. Remember, we used to try to assemble and occupy, but they dangled us the trope of social justice. Woke sells quite well, it's also a spell, cause NPCs can't see beyond the veil. Don't believe these lying eyes, there's no conspiracy comprised of lies and history's alibis.
It's a good song. What can I say, Hanok? My toucan side is showing up a little bit.
Shut
it down. You don't know too much.
We rule the land with mighty
hands and not the mighty's touch. We're noticing a trend.
There are certain things
they cannot say. Sing it all instead.
Hey,
shut it down.
We are the
technical heresies.
It's hard not to connect when sizing up our lot. The next spin stack, so just relax your head.
On top.
It's transitory, funny story. Inflation just sustains the vicious viper. And old Jekyll knew where they hide all the jewels, but they can't hide pride when it's a little on the nose.
On the nose.
Porn. It's kind of a warning when the product's free. There's something else they're taking. These clowns in Hollywood drink their holly jolly juice, and the music industry's a masquerade. These parasites disturb your mind and turn you into something less than human. The hive mind queen infects your dream, cause ignorance is bliss. Enjoy your bliss. Don't believe these lying eyes. There's no conspiracy comprised of lies and history's alibis. This timeline isn't right.
Face, shut it down. Let him know too much.
We rule the land with
mighty hands and have the Midas touch. me, Meshuggah, for noticing a trend. There's certain things you cannot say, and all dead. Face, shut it down, show it now, good luck. We are the technical You're Pharisees, you are a bunch of schmucks. It's hard not to the vet, sizing up a lot. Let X-Men stack so just relax. Here's the mountaintop. Don't fade, shut it down. Going no too much. Mighty hand, have the Midas touch. Me, Meshuggah, I'm nursing a trend. Things you cannot say, say them all instead. Oi, fade, shut it down. I can't go Pharisees, you're just a bunch of schmucks. It's hard to the vet, sizing up a lot. Let X-Men stack so just relax. Have the mountaintop. Shut it down. The Goyim know too much. They have the mighty hand that have the Midas touch. Meshuggah, for noticing a trend. There's certain things you cannot say, so sing them all instead. Now that was a song, boys! I think some of my V-Singer pals would be impressed with how much I fumbled up the lyrics. Then again, this guy actually knows how to sing and play the piano. Go give Foundering a call on X. It's at Foundering1 on X. Whew, that was pretty good. I enjoyed the song quite thoroughly. Now, with Radio Genoa, we are going to look at that page next. Though I will take a look at my notifications again. Why not? We just have to make sure that what we're watching is, safe for work. No. Hold on, just... That's a little too graphic. Okay, this one's pretty. This one's actually kind of funny. Let's look. Let's take a look.
Stay on. Stay on. Stay on. Stay on. Stay on.
Okay, this is in America, but still pretty funny.
Stay on. I will go to jail today. I promise you. Keep screaming. Yes. Stay on. Stay on.
What is going on?
Stay on. Stay the fuck on. Yes. Hold on tight. I hope you are. Hold on. No. Should have got the fuck off my shit when I said so. Fuck
is this guy a doctor or an engineer? Clearly not a bright one. Oh, hold on. This one's about Islam. Sadiq Khan has visions. Islam is peace, love, tolerance. Islam loves and celebrates diversity because diversity is our strength. We still need immigrants. And gee, I wonder why this guy is saying that. He's probably in a fucking European country. Yes, he's in England. Wouldn't you fucking know?
But here's the really important point of my short remarks. Yes, we celebrate our diversity, and in Islam, we are a very, very diverse religion. But there are some people who think diversity is not a strength and is a weakness. They think diversity shouldn't be celebrated, it should be denigrated. They try and pit.
You're right, it should be. At this point, I'm just like, anyone who isn't, like in terms of, America or whatnot, anyone who isn't a citizen here, who isn't a Christian, should fuck right off. That's just not any old Brit. That's the mayor of London. Oh my God. Women in London are not safe. We all know very well why. Wow.
Muslims versus Hindus. They try and pit those from London versus those from other parts of the country. They try and pit those who are older versus those who are younger.
No,
and as the general election approaches,
those people are not British. If they were British, they'd have fair skin and they'd be Christian.
They will try and make these culture wars bigger and bigger. And we've got to say no. We've got to say we're going to build bridges and we're not going to build walls. We've got to show...
No, the way that these people build bridges is letting these migrant guys have their way with native populations.
That Islam celebrates diversity and we celebrate our brothers and sisters, whether they're Muslims or they are non-Muslims. But here's the really important point.
No. Islam is not a peaceful religion by any stretch of the imagination. It is violent, it is savage, and you could see the results in the Middle East. Iran used to be a far better country before the revolution happened. But Scurvy, it's now okay to be brown and British. I see. Let's see. Women in London are not safe. We all very know why. Grape reported every hour in London. Oh my god. And apparently, boys aren't safe in London either. Why does Labour block investigations? What is Keir Starmer hiding? An unusual feature of Oxford shrooming gang is that 50 of close to 400 known victims were boys. Don't even get me started on what happens to young boys in Islamic countries. They're also sold as sex slaves. A review by Oxfordshire Safeguarding Children Board found the abuse went unchallenged for years because there was a professional tolerance of men having sex with minors. Ugh, that's horrible. That's honestly fucking horrible. Like, good lord. Oh, let's go back. Oh, that's brutal. That's a little too brutal. Let's go back to something that is a little less brutal. Okay, yeah, this one isn't that brutal. But here, let's take a look at this video right here. They also beat disabled 80-year-old grandmothers, these migrants who are above the law in every sense imaginable. Let's watch.
You smell like booze. And I am. You better, girl.
Where is this, I wonder?
That's it.
Good lord. You are a bad orange for not showing violence. I don't want this stream to be taken down. Like, some guy was stomping on a woman's head. I don't want to show that on here. Sorry for pussing out, but I just set up my Rumble account. I haven't uploaded anything on there yet. Okay, let's try to find some more stuff. Oh. I have a feeling for this next video. The woman in the video probably voted for this shit. Oh wait, that's the wrong tab. The woman in this video that you're about to see probably voted for this bullshit. This is why women shouldn't be able to vote. Childless women will treat third world migrants like children.
Dis-moi.
This is like French or something, or is it German? I can't fucking tell. They kind of sound similar to me.
Je suis pas intéressée.
Probably French. Oh no, this is Spanish. Or is it French? Yeah, no, this is French.
La story que je viens de faire là il y a 30 secondes, ben, je l'ai fait au mec suivant qui est venu m'accoster. Je l'ai fait parce qu'il y a un qui est venu m'accoster, donc j'ai commencé à filmer. Il a pris mon téléphone, il a commencé à jeter par terre et il m'a dit. J'ai trop peur qu'il me suive.
Bitch, I see the tattoo on your arm. You voted for this shit. You are so sympathetic to these third world dysgenic fucktards that you're like, well, they're not gonna rape me. They're not gonna rape me. No, they're gonna harass you at the very least. I'm not saying you deserve any of it. Don't mistake me for saying that. I'm just saying there are consequences to your voting decisions.
J'ai trop peur qu'il me suive. Il a commencé à prendre mon téléphone, il l'a jeté par terre, il me dit ouais, tu me filmes pas et tout, sale tout, tu crois que t'es qui et tout, moi je te ruine ta vie.
You probably voted for this. Pattern recognition tells me.
La haine et la peur, et pourtant je lui ai tenu tête. Franchement, genre, je lui ai tenu tête, j'ai essayé j'ai fait de mon mieux, mais c'est une dinguerie. Les deux vidéos là, enfin, la première vidéo et celle que je vais vous poster maintenant, c'était à 10 mètres de différence. Voilà, la vie que je subis au quotidien.
Something else too. You at this point in time, you really shouldn't be walking alone at night in Paris. You really shouldn't be doing that. But we have another video here, unfortunately. Do you want... So this... Oh, wait. No, I keep pressing the wrong fucking button. This one is captioned, "Do you want to be treated like a woman? An Islamist stalks and harasses 2 young German women in Berlin. Europe is no longer safe for women, and we all know very well why."
Finding a good husband. You walk porn on the street. You seek our generation. Can you leave this, please? Yes, I can talk. I free speech, not of us. Fuck off. I talk in the name of God. Okay. Yes, I'm sure. I love woman. I love
Name of God.
Yeah, I'm sure.
How much money to bet that these bitches voted for this? Once again, they vote. Women vote for this shit en masse. I remember seeing signs of, women say, that said, refugees welcome, immigrants welcome, shit like that. Legion of Men said this before, but like back when the Syrian revolution was first happening and, the initial waves of refugees were coming about to like these Western countries, it's like it wasn't an insane amount. It really wasn't. And there was some trouble, but it wasn't, it was like families. It wasn't only just fighting age men. It was families, mothers, fathers, siblings and all that were actually trying to flee from a war that they want nothing to do with. That's not happening anymore. Like, these guys know this too, the fighting age men that are coming over to, like, different European borders, and hell, even American borders too. They're trying to smuggle, illegals in, in addition to the Mexican illegals, they're trying to smuggle other brown illegals into the U.S. border too. But anyways, let's go back. Let's find some more stuff from Radio Genoa. I remember filling out this poll. Which religious group is most likely to abuse children? Muslims won, but we all know who actually does it. Black people being stupid. Oh boy. Keep scrolling down. Okay. Muslim preachers say that Islam will force its way into every European home. Are you ready to welcome them? What about you guys? Are you guys ready to welcome a bunch of dysgenic Muslims into your guys' homelands? I'm not.
The world has divided into two. One is Islam, and those who want to destroy that and destroy society. Look, Islam will enter every household, whether you like it or not.
No, fuck you. No. I'm not going to let an Islamist into my home. Never. Unless it's a pretty hot girl who is willing to convert to Greek Orthodoxy. That's the one exception. But yeah, no, fuck off. Fuck off, dysgenic. Fuck off.
Donald Trump, inshallah, soon you will see we have a plan in place to go visit him and call him toward Islam. Inshallah.
No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Your little manipulation tactics are not going to work on Donald Trump. He barely tolerates you guys to begin with.
If Biden is awake, we'll also go and visit him, inshallah. And others, Brother Bobby, may Allah make it soon, inshallah, we'll be seeing his shahada. And
Inshallah, mashallah, inshallah. God, they always have. So in Islam, they treat God like he's a jealous ex, and no, that's like no, he doesn't need to be worshipped constantly. I remember when I don't know who Bobby is, but I remember when I was still living in my apartment. I was at the dining hall, and I was kind of next to just a Muslim just praying. And I was just like, oh my God, you don't need to fucking do that. I'm a Christian, all right? You don't need to fucking do that all the time. He wasn't praying like how someone would for dinner or whatnot. No, once again, there's at a specific time you have to pray. You have to pray to Allah. Specific times of the day, throughout the day, and need a break. Gotta get them accommodations.
Others, Sneeko and others.
Sneeko?
We're going to be reaching out to everybody. As Muslim, as an ummah, we're going to be reaching out. And you're going to be seeing more and more of these types of people.
Not to mention, the amount of white guys that are converting to Islam because of faggots like Andrew Tate and Sneeko. It's like, wow, what a shame. What a shame.
Who know that...
did you cover the Oh! Now that you mention that, AC, we'll have a little bit of another bonus segment dedicated to talking about that.
This society and the...
Get the point of view.
Problema di compatibilità.
So, we'll do that after this video here. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, there's a problem of compatibility between Islamic culture and the values and rights of our civilization.
Io penso che ci sia un problema di compatibilità tra la cultura islamica o certa interpretazione della cultura islamica e i diritti e i valori della nostra.
But Meloni, what are you doing about it? I think you are starting to do something about it, but at the same time, it's like, is it enough?
Nostra civiltà. A me non sfugge che la gran parte dei centri culturali islamici in Italia sono finanziati dall'Arabia Saudita e l'Arabia Saudita è una nazione che a casa sua applica la Sharia e Sharia significa lapidazione per l'adulterio, pena di morte per apostasia, pena di morte per omosessualità. Credo che queste questioni vadano poste, che non vuol dire generalizzare sull'Islam, vuol dire porre il problema che c'è in atto un processo di islamizzazione dell'Europa che è molto distante dai valori della nostra. Io penso che ci sia un problema.
Interesting. But let's get to that other bonus segment about what AC mentioned. Oh boy. This one is a mess and a half. So a while back, this ultra-Orthodox sect of Jews in Guatemala were basically caught trafficking for, children. That should be really concerning for everyone here. And also the fact that these Jews are just like, oy vey, goy, we're allowed to practice our religion. We're away from you, goys. We should be able to traffic children from all over the world. Yeah, no, you shouldn't be able to. You should be punished. And honestly, I'm surprised that this story is still being memory holed. It's like, ain't that concerning? It's the same thing with the teenage, the Jews in the sewers. That should be really concerning. And they're not getting punished. They're not going to get punished. And that's also really sad as well. And what needs to happen is the 10th Crusade. Unironically, I say this unironically. A 10th Crusade needs to happen. Because people should not be able to get away with such demonic activity. Anyways, that was my short little rant about that. We do have another video on the on the Muslim grape gangs from the Lotus Eaters. You know, Sargon's crew. Say what you want about him, but at least he's covering it.
Yes, it absolutely was a cover-up. Right? The authorities knew, the police knew, the councillors knew.
That's true, Henok.
The MPs knew, the media knew, and they went out of their way to cover this up. And so this is going to be a
Of course they'd cover it up, Sargon, because the leftists, I even said this to Undead Chronic, but the leftists, but you know, white people bad, brown people good. That's the leftist modus operandi. It's true. If these white cuckolds feel like oh no, we can't be making fun of the browns. We have systemic issues to fix. We can't let the public know about this. Jolly good show.
Detailed look at just some of the examples of how they covered this up, because this is just atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious, and speaks to a Britain whose time, I think, is past. Right? Yeah. So the sort of 2000s consensus of the Love Actually, Keir Starmer types being in control of the cultural narrative and handing that down through the institutions and through proliferating that through the culture to make people essentially be complicit in terrible crimes. So I'm going to lean heavily on work that Sam Ashworth-Hayes has done here. Sam is a columnist at the Telegraph, and he's just doing superb work on the grooming gangs, frankly. He's doing a really, really, really excellent job of uncovering these monumental flaws in what has happened. And not even flaws, deliberate policy.
Okay.
So beginning with the police turning a blind eye. So this was a particular case in Rotherham where the grooming gang was the abuser, the Pakistani adult man, was abusing a girl in a car next to the police station. The police caught him.
What? This was next to a police station? What the hell?
Him in the act, and they said, well, what's going on?
What the hell is this?
Well, she's doing whatever. And they ignored it and then just wandered off as if this was completely normal.
I'm sorry. What? Why? Is it because if the cop were to do something about it, he could get sued or something? I didn't know England was as litigious as the United States. Can't spell cuck without the UK. That is true. Then again, I don't think the cops have guns on them or anything. Not like they can. What could they do to stop this? Because they are weak as their government. That's also true, Henok.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
It's just infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
And the obvious question is, why would they not pay attention to it? Why would they just dismiss it?
No idea. I mean, she's literally like 13 or something, and they can see
What?
into the car. They can see what she's doing. They can see that he's making her do it. They can see that he's like, I mean, what was he, 44 when he was finally arrested? So
okay, so the girl was around like 13. The guy was 44, and he got away with this. What the fuck?
In his 30s, maybe, like, and they just decided, no, blind eye to that, not our problem. Or that's inconvenient, that's uncomfortable. We're not going to deal with this, and so they just wandered off. And so you've got other examples, right? So, in another case, when the police found a missing victim in a car with her abusers, they told her she'd get the men in trouble. Right? So, you can file a complaint, you can press charges, but you will be getting these guys in trouble, right? Police often stop cars in which CSA-12 was with her abusers. That's the victim herself. But took no action even after finding out her age and that she was missing from care. One police officer told me that I was what was going wrong in our society, and that I was the type of person bringing about a bad society.
Okay, what? The cops are telling this rape victim that she is the problem in British society, not the criminals doing the crimes. What kind of fucking world are we living in here?
Another one said that we were going to get these men in trouble because we wanted to act like child prostitutes. So again, this comes from
what? And keep in mind, look at the phrase, the phrasing of that. These migrants that are in London are basically, and keep in mind, the cops will believe them. The government will believe the people perpetrating the crimes, and they will condemn the victims of said crime. How does that make sense?
Allegedly, the Gordon Brown government putting the circular that Nazir Afzal claims, but
it's like abusive family relationships where the good kid gets blamed for doing something to set off the bad kid's misbehaving instead of addressing the behavior just because it's less of a fuss. You said it, Rug.
I can't find any evidence of the general attitude is these children are choosing this lifestyle, and so in fact
hey, me to the dysgenics who are saying that. No, they are not. You're abducting them, you kidnapped them, and you're raping them.
The moral burden falls on them. So you're 12 or 13, and you're being trafficked and raped, and that is, as far as the police are concerned, your choice, and you're the bad person here.
This is very hard to believe. I think any person who would say this is just obviously engaging in very, very corrupt activities.
You know what?
Yes.
I've got lots of friends from...
The whole thing reeks of corruption. On the highest of levels.
Who are from other countries, who find it hard to believe, but there is... It's totally believable if you were growing up in Britain or living in...
That a 12-year-old can consent.
Sorry?
That a 12-year-old can consent.
Oh, no. It's not that. No. Obviously, a 12-year-old can't consent. What I mean is that the attitude of the people can be flipped into this...
More trusting.
Sorry?
That they are more trusting with respect to...
No. The attitude of the authorities, okay. Right? So, obviously, the authorities are completely in the wrong here. And they should have identified, there's a 12-year-old there with an adult man. She's being raped by the adult man, right? That should have been... the baseline understanding, right? But a lot of people from outside of Britain don't understand the kind of conformity that there was in the 2000s. There was a very powerful mainstream culture that was it thought of itself as having high standards, but it also thought of itself as being the protector of minority groups, right? And so the moral burden could never be placed on the minority group because it assumed...
So, okay, let's let him finish his point.
In some way, they were kind of inferior or incapable of making decisions as agents. And so the white girl, even though she's 12, she's treated as the agent who is operating...
So, basically, it's bigotry of low expectations in its worst possible form. That's what I'm getting at here. So if you don't know what the bigotry of low expectations is, it's basically saying, you're basically hired, or you're basically in this country because of your skin color, and you can't do anything about it because of your skin color.
On the gang itself,
However, this version of the bigotry of low expectations is like they are babying people who are in their 30s and in their 40s, and they are telling them, and that come from a very different culture, an inferior one, I might add, that he can't do anything wrong. He's a Muslim. He doesn't know any better. Bullshit. These fuckers know what they're doing.
Other than, of course, the other way around, which was how it was in reality. And so this whole stinking attitude pervaded all of these institutions, and it came from the Labour Party's sort of paternalistic racial condescension towards minority groups. They assume, oh no, the white girl obviously is oppressing these brown guys.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it seems to me that they are not. They are paternalistic in a way that doesn't say change your ways.
No, not at all.
I'm your father, and I know you're good, and I care about you. It's the opposite. It's just.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm
going to let you prey on my population. That's what it's.
Yeah, the Labour government wants to preserve multiculturalism, and this kind.
Yep, goes back to that. What benefit is there in multiculturalism? I don't mind bringing over your cuisines. All right, I don't have a problem with that. That's probably the one thing of your culture you should be bringing over. If you want to start a restaurant or something. But anything else, anything that doesn't fit in with Christianity should stay back in its country. Assimilate. Learn how to be an American, or so to speak, though you'll never truly be an American. Learn how to live here. Don't cause any trouble, and you'll be fine.
Kind of behavior from this kind of community is, as far as they're concerned, essentially an authentic expression of that community. That's how the Labour... So the problem is the girl who is allowing this to happen. She's the one who is treated as the moral agent here by the police, not the gang members themselves. And this this is literally something they end up running defense for. So if we go to the next one,
what?
Like again, this, you would think this wouldn't happen in the most abominable kind of fiction, right? It would seem unrealistic to write a fiction about this. But this is from the confession of one of the victims. She says, I was going missing, and once I got added to a register of, CSE, like at risk of CSE, they stopped reporting me as a missing person in the normal way. I didn't get reported as an actual missing person. I got reported as something else and added to a different register, so the police didn't actually look for me properly. They didn't put as much effort into it because I was a persistent missing person. So my mum started ringing up the police station. There was a conversation between her and the police officer where she said that I was getting abused by Asian males, and
Asian males. This is something the media has been using, the leftist media, I should say, has been using to describe this shit. No, they are not Chinese. They're not Thai. They're not Vietnamese. They're not Japanese. They're not Korean. They're not, from Hong Kong or Taiwan or anything in Southeast Asia. No. Why are you using Asian? They are Pakistani or African or Indians.
Said that she was racist for saying that, and that she should be happy that I was getting taught a different culture.
What?
That's disgusting.
This is a normal part of their culture, and that it's acceptable for them to express that through.
What the hell is this?
Okay, I'm much more willing to say that this is just all.
Oh my God!
Excuses. They were just unbelievably corrupt, and they were just sugarcoating it in the way they thought that it was going to go to be received.
They were definitely corrupt, but ideologically so.
Yeah, but this actually confirms what you were saying about the ideology of the times, is that they think that this is the language that would carry the message forward. That if they sugarcoat it in multiculturalist terms, being taught different cultures, being open and tolerant, that it would stick.
What?
Yeah, this is a true belief of these people, right? This is the thing, and I realize it's hard to understand.
You're right, Hanok. What the fuck is correct? Also, I'm just gonna speed this up a little. Pause. There's a little bit of pausing here. Perfect. Anyways, but still, exactly. What the fuck is my answer to that too? Why is it like, oh, you're being taught a different culture? What culture? Getting raped isn't culture. What? Tolerance has its limits. Yes. And we should have stopped tolerating this shit as soon as the first rape happened.
But it genuinely, I was an adult through the early 2000s.
Okay.
These genuinely were the things they believed. Right. And I realized that, someone who wasn't here at the time, maybe, I don't know,
No, I'm very suspicious generally.
I know, but I've got lots of other friends from Europe and places that aren't Britain who are like V was just like, there's no way the word racist has that much power in Britain. I was like, you don't even know. You don't understand.
V, huh?
The culture of conformity in Britain in the early 2000s made this kind of horrific stuff possible and it made the police...
To tolerate evil is to condone evil. This is why I'm so much of an aggressive asshole when it comes to a lot of topics on X. And hell, even in real life, I really don't tolerate evil. In the past, when I went out to bars, I was calling a lot of people faggots. I was also saying just how I was also calling Muslims dysgenics and a lot of other things too. I'm surprised nobody tried to kick my ass, but it's probably not a good idea when the guy who you might try and fight can break your neck.
Officers feel like they were doing the morally right thing, right? Look at the kind of high-handed way he's talking. You're a racist for saying that, because that's what racist really means, is the person outside of the grace of polite society, right? That's what that means. And you are getting taught a different culture. You should be appreciative of that. Like, that is a moral assertion on the family. No, I know they're raping and abusing your daughter, but you're bad people. And
you are evil white people. Your daughter deserves to be, multiculturalized. That's what the government is basically saying to the family and to her. It's evil. It's vile.
And you should be thankful for this, is what the underlying message is. And this is what they genuinely believed in the 2000s. And so, it just gets worse. It gets worse and worse, right? So here's one example of when a child went to the police.
I think they lied to the people there.
They would tip off the abusers because they are fully committed to the protection of the dignity of the community doing the abusing, right? And that's the thing. It's and so the abusers are themselves essentially kind of victims of these girls reporting the abuse.
That's how the government treats them. That's how the government treats actual fucking rapists. They are treating legitimate criminals like they are children. Guess who voted for all this, though?
Yeah. So he says here, the protection of offenders...
No, Scurvy. They meant to say your daughter is getting culturally enriched. The cultural enrichment meme. Oh, boy.
May have gone further still. In at least one case, when a victim was found the courage to go to the police, their abuser appears to have been tipped off. While still in the police station, one child received a text from her abuser informing her that he had her 11-year-old sister and that it was now your choice. The child chose not to go through with complaint. As in, by the way, the girl you've been abusing...
What the hell is this?
...about to level charges against you. You just thought you should know. And then, so they then text her a threat to make her drop the complaint. That is the police completely being complicit, completely defending and being in bed with the grooming gangs. Again, you just have to understand the culture of the time.
Kind of reminds me of, the Mexican drug cartels and how they're in league with the Mexican government and how they basically control it. How the hell is this working?
Swear to God.
So
that's the same question I have, Hanok.
By
about this whole thing,
sexually abusing you, you're an obstacle to their integration.
Scurvy, what the fuck am I hearing?
Yeah, well, Yes.
You're
but
here.
that-
You're hearing, about what's been going on in England for the past decade or two.
What they're doing is trying to protect the reputation of the Pakistani community in Britain.
Yeah.
And if you aren't
A community that's full of, let's be real, majority rapists.
consenting, this child
I mean, cultural enrichers.
isn't consenting to their own abuse, then that means that this community is doing something very, very bad to another community.
Yeah.
Right, repeatedly. And this will gather them a stigma and make, essentially, it will bring forth racism.
And it would harm the multiculturalist narrative.
Absolutely. It will harm the multicultural utopia. And it
Oh, you see, my jolly good chaps, we must have a multicultural utopia because it's good. White people bad, brown people good. Jolly ho!
It will be a justified creation of racism in Britain, and so these girls have to have been making this choice.
Jolly ho, chaps! We'll treat these girls as martyrs for our multicultural utopia. They are not going to die. They are going to go through something far worse than death.
For themselves. And
that's what the government's
under
basically
this
saying.
rubric of, if you admit that this is a problem and if you push this forward, then you are essentially harming.
And you are racist for questioning us. Jolly ho, tea and crumpets.
The Muslim community in Britain, that is why the police are on the side of the abusers and not the abuse. They view themselves as trying to protect the entire community. Anyway.
Question, was it the police or...
The fact that the majority of the English are supposed to be the English. Why are you protecting a bunch of Pakistani dysgenic rapists?
Was the police ordered to do so? Because I can understand police officers who are closer to people being a bit resistant to this, but then you have a politician calling
there are definitely going to be some people in the police force who are resistant to this, right? However, many of the police are not exactly our best and brightest.
Okay.
They don't really.
I agree, Hannah.
why
No
they're
child
doing
should
this,
be going through
but
that.
They do
it's
have their
fucking
orders,
horrific
and they will
that they
follow
do.
their orders. This will happen in all places and all times, by the way. They will do as they're told because they're not. They select for people who are compliant in these forces, and this isn't. They will see this. The institution itself is a big, powerful institution with many layers above them, and they're like, well, no, this is the moral justification you've been given. These are the orders, and so you kind of have to commit to that. So,
and that's the culture of slow habituation into accepting evil.
Yes, and because of the
exactly, Stelio. Exactly. This is all a giant attempt to demoralize the native population into accepting something that is horrific and evil.
And again, you've got to remember this sort of the powerful mechanism of conformity that the 2000s liberal culture of Britain had. You knew you were going to get moral reception from all of the institutions. You know, the politicians, the police, the media, the councillors. You know, everyone would have been on your side. Oh no, good, well done for preventing racism against the Pakistani community. Well done. That's worse than allowing them to rape children, right? So that they knew that they were leaning into safety by doing this, right? Which is why even now, none of these people have been arrested. They've probably still got their jobs. Like, they're probably still on the beat as it is now, right? So
probably
there's been no comeuppance for this at all. But anyway, let's carry on, because it's not like Telford Council were in any way exempt from all of this. Again, as Sam's pointing out, right, similar concerns apply to the council. This is specifically in Telford Council, where anxieties over appearing racist saw safeguarding officers waving away concerns simply because the perpetrators were Asian. It was felt that some suspects were not investigated because it would not have been politically correct. Or it would have been politically incorrect. This is not to say that the council did...
What the hell is this?
Good lord. If being politically correct means you have to cover up for rapes of native children, I don't ever want to be politically correct.
Did nothing, aware that taxi drivers were offering children rides for sex in 2006, it suspended license.
How long was this shit going on for? I was aware somewhat aware of the stuff going on in like the mid 2010s, but it was going on since the early 2000s. In 2006, I was discovering YouTube poops for the first time. Meanwhile, in 2006, British girls were getting raped by a bunch of cisgenic Muslims. Wow. Fucking horrific. 2 decades? Oh, Sargon wasn't lying when he said it was 2 fucking decades. 2 fucking decades of this bullshit.
License enforcement for drivers, allowing high-risk drivers to continue practicing.
As opposed to jail.
As opposed to jail for raping children. Like, again, I know from an outside perspective, it is very difficult to believe all of this, right? Because it sounds...
Oh, no, not for me. I believe in all this 100%. Like, because in America, we're experiencing a form of this ourselves. With I've gone over this too, you know, with the Guatemalan gangs and other South American gangs that are just jumping over the border, you know, fucking up Denver and other U.S. cities. They allow it. They allow for it to happen. The Democrats allow for this to happen. I could see why so many people in the 2024 election voted for Trump. Yeah, let's not forget about the Chinese, too, for basically importing fentanyl into our communities.
Sounds preposterous, but you have to remember that they are worried that people will have a negatively characteristic view of this minority community. And as people who are dogged multiculturalists, they are insistent on defending the honor and reputation of the community. And and they will do anything. They will go to any lengths to not be called racists, right? To negatively characterize a minority community.
Oh, wow. This government would rather be complicit in the rapes of children, probably because they're also child rapists themselves, than to be called racists.
Is the highest.
Yeah, I can see why that's the case.
Framework. And they know it, and this is why it keeps coming up. It was entirely born out of fear of accusations of racism. And this is what the Telford inquiry found. So, just to be clear, right, the people they were defending were themselves massive racists, right? Incredibly racist. So, Charlie is another person who's done, along with Sam, incredible work on all of this. And honestly, I'm very glad I can showcase it, right? So, he gives the example of the Rochdale ringleader, who repeatedly just said, well, look, everything being said against me is all white lies. As in, it's just racial lies. So, and again, he obviously targeted only English girls for racist reasons.
Hollywood sexuals will
persistent thing.
Condone,
this is from
condone 9 others like them. Yep. Fucking course.
Peter McLaughlin's Easy Meat, right? Where in the Rochdale case, he says, and again, it's the same guys. It's the same guys, right? We are the supreme race, not these white bastards.
Wow.
Why? So the ruling anti-racist philosophy of multiculturalism is directly protected.
That's something else too about these minority communities. They often think they're superior than the host nation that's having them. Yeah, they're totally not racist, guys. They're just like you and me.
Protecting virulent racists.
It's all about who is the ally of the left at each moment.
Yes.
Exactly.
They are doing everything to protect the good of insane racists. People who literally will say, we are the supreme race. Like, this is mad. Absolutely mad. It's maddening to have to deal with. Right? And the thing is that none of this is new. Right? None of this...
Remember, Pakis were kicked out of India. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if... Pakistan was even worse than India. And I make fun of India a lot.
This is new. It's just coming to light now. This has all been in the public domain for a long time. They could all have found this if they wanted to. They just didn't want to. And I've been talking about this since 2014, since the Alexis J report came out. So anyway, the the institutions of this country are preposterous. It's preposterous. So, again, they knew that this was based on religion and ethnicity. This kind of, the combination of the Muslim community is not merely an ideologically or religiously bound community. It is also an ethnically bound community, and everyone knows this. And as the this particular judge notes, this was something that they recognized. Right? They recognized in this that these men were targeting the English girls because they were English and because they perceived the English to be either Christian or atheist. And so they were like, right, not Muslim, not Pakistani.
Assuming you're white, let me tell you, there's an unspoken race war between blacks and Hispanics, especially among illegal ones for the jobs. I'm surprised. A race war hasn't started yet, but when the Hispanic population goes up, I'm sure it will happen. Yeah, right now, the Hispanics that are here legally and the blacks are barely getting along with each other.
Fair game. And this, again, it's been known for a long, long time. And weirdly,
he's actually not wrong, Henoch. I noticed this myself.
Decided, what we're going to do is stop recording the ethnicity of the suspects.
Oh,
that's incredibly suspicious. That's the admission of guilt. It's the admission.
Exactly. Holy shit. That's so true. It's like this is what's called a lie by omission. If they're not gonna, it's like, oh, we don't know the ethnicity as to who committed this crime. Oh, we don't know. That's a lie by omission.
Admission that we failed.
Exactly. It's the admission. Look,
don't talk about it.
But again, why would you do it? Why would you do it unless you were determined to protect the good reputation of that particular community? Yeah. That's all that could be for.
That reminds me of Machiavelli, who says at some point in the prison, if you want to do something that's going to be deeply unpopular, do it fast and people will forget about it and carry on with their lives.
Yeah.
So that's a loss. That's an admission of loss.
Yeah, that is. But again, the only reason to do it is because, from a practical policing perspective, you'd be like, okay, I need to know what kind of person I'm looking for. But if they don't record it, they have to have no practical reason not to record it. It has to literally be, we know what the response will be, and we don't want to stigmatize the community. And so if this community keeps producing these problems, then we'll just literally stop recording it, so it doesn't have to come up.
Wow.
And of course,
that's a lazy solution right there. This one group of people is committing this one particular crime en masse. Fuck the people who actually live here. Let's just ignore the problem. Everything's hunky-dory.
Keir Starmer and his government are not interested in carrying on the inquiry. And I think it was Ben Habib who put it best on GB News recently when he says, look, I actually don't want another inquiry because we have plenty of inquiries. There's been loads of inquiries. What I would like, and I agree with him completely, is that the police and any other authorities involved should be arrested and charged with being...
don't forget mass deportations. We need that to happen. We need mass deportations to happen first, and then we could take care of police incompetency. That way, when they get fired, there's not going to be even more rapes going on. But anyways, let's lighten up the mood a little bit. Let's lighten up the mood. This is vaguely in the topic of politics or whatnot, kind of. Let's see. World of T-shirts, the lolcow we've covered. We have some stuff from World of T-shirts is now in Ireland. He is now in Ireland. He is technically part of the problem. So we're going to watch a few clips and then we're going to get to the regular cancellation. Let's lighten up the stream a little bit. I think this is necessary.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Fucking funny. Take that back.
Jesus Christ.
Joshua, please. Joshua, please. I'm gonna kill you.
Whoa!
What the fuck? Wait,
he's biting his thumb. Wow.
Oh shit.
Can somebody tell the ginger fella to stop it like that?
Whoa! 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 Chill out.
Josh, let's go get a baby Guinness. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
You tell him, go get a baby Guinness, and he just turns around and it's like, alcohol. Alcohol. Wow, I'm gonna get a free drink. Scurvy, we are laughing at the expense of a retard. Yes, I know. That's why laughing at World of T-Shirts is funny.
He chills out now. Now he's happy. Oh.
And then next one we have John in World of T-Shirts gets called a poor peasant in the Irish streets. Oh no! Put the fries in the bag. Put the fries in the bag.
Here, bitch. You probably put fries in bags.
You probably put fries in bags. This guy, he's a World of T-Shirts. He's a real political menace. Am I right, guys?
You put the fries up your butt.
You put the fries up your butt.
Shut up! Shut up!
My God.
I don't get paid enough to have my trip spoiled. $1,000 a year, bitch.
You only make $2,000 a year. Josh, oh my God, what the hell? They look way too young to be hanging around Josh. No, I'm not gonna show you Mia Khalifa. Oh, one more clip. Oh, wait, do we have? Oh wait, no. So this is something more relevant. So influencer World of T-Shirts with 3.7 million stereotypes darker looking man for an illegal immigrant and says he wants him deported. Woo!
World country, and he's an illegal immigrant.
So he's probably not wrong. But then, wait.
I want him deported.
He's gone.
I want him deported.
Evade him. He's a lost cause. Sorry. He's an unemployed bitch.
I'm calling ICE.
He says, I'm calling ICE. Like ICE has any fucking jurisdiction in Ireland. And he's referring to, America's ICE, Immigration's Customs and Enforcement. He needs to be deported by ICE. No, he's not even ICE isn't even deporting any actual illegals right now. Anyways, I'll be right back. That's enough World of T-Shirts. We've lightened up the mood. I will say we do have one post from Undead Chronic that I'll read real quick. One Muslim is worth 100,000 white children. Oh my God, that's fucked up a based because to the American, to the UK government, one Muslim is worth 100,000 white children. It is really fucked up, but that's what the British government thinks. Anyways, I'll be right back. there we go. I'm back. No, guys, we're not going to look at any corn stars. No. Also, I know who Violet Myers is now, unfortunately. Unfortunately. No, you're not going to get corn, Henok. Anyways, we do have... Let's see, just going to check the itinerary. Yep, now we're at our regular cancellation. Just have to...
Not trying to put the politics portion of it.
Oh, wait, yep. Just have to speed it up a little. There we go. Now, let's head to our regular cancellation. So, we're going to talk about the California wildfires that have been going on, specifically in LA. Let's watch.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program. I'm sitting here, and I'm trying to get all this last-minute news and all these last-minute things, because everything is breaking news right now about this fire. Of course, it raged overnight, but everybody's starting to now look at what's going on. It's unstoppable at this point. Huge, heavy winds, gusts up into the 100 miles per hour, because there's so much heat from this raging fire that it's actually causing wind, causing the fire to...
Now, this is from a few days ago. The fires have died down, but it's still important to understand. So we're probably going to skip just a little bit here.
2,227 acres with...
Yeah, we're going to skip a little bit here because this is just about the introductory to the fires that we all know about.
It's a hot mess. Well...
Hot mess.
This is what happens when you focus on DEI and dumb people and hire people because of the color of their skin and not because of the mental fortitude that they have. This is from, I think, a year or two ago from the LA Times. Environmental rules stoke anger as California lets precious stormwater wash out to sea. California...
Keep in mind, California doesn't have much rain very often. And so when it does rain, they absolutely should be storing that stormwater. But guess what? It's not in the budget to keep that stormwater and to, make it useful. No, we're just going to dump it out into the sea. Yeah, make that water useless.
California has all these weird rules about the environment and worrying about species of animals.
Thank you, Gavin
Newsom. You can't do this, and you need 73 permits just to turn on water on a new property that you're building. And I remember there was a basketball player. I don't remember who it was, but I think that wasn't Karl Malone. Anyway, there was a basketball player. He just wanted to build an in-ground pool at his
home. LA,
and he said after
burn.
something like $60,000 worth of permits and dragging it out for 5 years, he finally gave up, and he's like, forget it. Just never mind. Because there's so much red tape in California because of all the environmental
absolutely.
stuff. And ironically, because of their environmentalism, they keep dumping fresh water out to sea because they don't want to hold on to the stormwater because there might be some ecological disaster. And so they've run out of water. And again, I'm not going to read every story or we'd be here for the next 16 hours. This is the mayor, Karen Bass, a female, black. No, I'm just...
fucking black woman mayor, black woman Democrat mayor. Pattern recognition tells us that's a formula for failure.
I'm not saying that to be derogatory, but I am saying that there's a good bet that she probably got into her position because of the DEI stuff. Los Angeles
probably
Mayor
giving
Karen
a
Bass
blowjob
cut
to
fire
Gavin
budget by nearly $20 million. Again, this is what happens when you put stupid people, because California fires rage every 3 or 5 years. They're always a worry. And they say, oh, we're tight on budget. Well, we haven't had a fire in a few years, so let's go ahead and cut the fire budget. Oopsie. How's that working out for you?
Oh my God, $20 million. And could you guess where that $20 million, along with additional money, has went to? I'll let you guys take a guess before we continue. I'll give you a hint. It starts with a U, and it's a country in Europe. That might be too obvious at this point. But take a guess. Take a guess, guys. Take a guess. Where did the LAFD send that money to? And other supplies as well. Just guess. Just guess. Okay, enough time has passed. It's Ukraine. I'm not joking about that either. Earlier today, or was it yesterday? I think it was either today or yesterday. I saw a post from Kirsha talking about exactly this. It's like, like her, I am beyond flabbergasted. Beyond flabbergasted.
And now she's being blasted because, as you can see here, from the post-millennial, LA Mayor Karen Bass slammed for being in Ghana while her city burns. This from Breitbart.
Why the fuck was she in Ghana? Like, is the only reason that's the case is because of virtue signaling? Because my black people?
Democrat LA Mayor Karen Bass in Africa as her city burns. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass spent Tuesday in Africa as part of the taxpayer-funded delegation attending the inauguration of John Dramani Mahama as Ghana's president. The Democrat was there as her city battled wildfires and thousands of residents fled for their lives. Now, why was she at an inauguration of somebody in Ghana? She's not a federal employee. She's not with the federal government. Why is she concerned about things that are happening overseas? You know, as a mayor, you worry about your town. As a state,
Uganda. No, this is Ghana. President of Ghana. 2025. John Mahama. That's the president name. That's the president's name. But let's see. What's the African country? Uganda. Huh. And I don't really know much about African politics. It's a bunch of corruption anyways.
Senator or a state governor or a state congressman, I guess you could just sum it up as, you should be worrying about the state, not what the federal government's doing. Now, if you're representing your state at the federal level, then yes, you worry about, but there are state representatives.
All good,
there's a state house and there's a state senate. You should be worrying about what's happening in the state. But no, a mayor of a city, she's not even.
Oh no, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about her citizens. They never do. Like these Democrat mayors, these Democrat governors, Joe Biden, when he was in office still, he didn't care about the people. They have an agenda to push. They never care. Politicians never care about the people. Maybe except for like one or two. But still, most of their ilk don't give a shit.
Even a senator, she's not in Congress. She doesn't represent anything about this state. She represents a city. So why the hell is she in Ghana? CNS News reports Shalonda D. Young, the director of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, headed the delegation to Accra, Ghana's capital. It also consisted of Virginia E. Palmer, the U.S. ambassador to Ghana. That's a person that should probably be there. And Francis Z. Brown, special assistant to the president and national security counselor, senior director for African affairs alongside Bass. Those people should be there. Why is Bass? As Breitbart News reported, the absence of Karen Bass came as the fast-burning wildfire that broke out in the mountains above Pacific Palisades amid extreme high winds on Tuesday morning threatened the homes of the local public school, which was evacuated. They've deployed more than 1,400 firefighting personnel to combat the blaze. But wait. Those 1,400 firefighting personnel have now evacuated and left the area and are no longer fighting the fire.
Wow. So, there's reasons why this happened. Joker gets into it a little bit later. First off, there's not enough water in the hydrants. This is what storm water is used for. You could use storm water. You purify it up. You put it in a hydrant. You could use that hydrant to help put out the fires, but there wasn't enough water in the hydrants to do that.
Why is that, you say? There's no water. No water. Officials didn't give an estimate of structure damage or destroyed in the Pacific Palisades wildfire, but they said about 30,000 residents were under evacuation orders, 13,000 structures. Lifelong Democrat Bass was elected in office in 2022, and if you notice here, where's my thumbnail? She was elected in 2022. When did she cut the fire budget? 2022 or 2023? One of the two.
Wow.
She's only been in office. She's in Ghana. Here's a picture of her in Ghana, laughing it up, having a good time while the city burns. People are here complaining. This is insane. LA Mayor Karen Bass is on taxpayer-funded trip to Africa as part of a Biden administration presidential delegation. While
Still, like I know not everybody in LA was, a sodomite. So I have been praying for like the good people of LA that, the faithful of LA, that they're able to make it out okay. But I still believe this is basically a modern day version of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's kind of needed to happen.
our city is burning to the ground. Mayor Karen Bass says we've declared a state of emergency to amplify our response to this devastating fire and clear a path for rapid recovery. To the hundreds of brave firefighters and first responders who've been responding all day to this blaze, we thank you. To the thousands of families, blah, blah, blah. Somebody replies, out of touch, Karen Bass is on a taxpayer-funded trip to Africa while her city plunges into crisis. The career politician's unfit to lead. And everybody's basically calling her out. The LA Mayor Karen Bass is responsible for cutting the fire department by $23 million. She's currently in Ghana. She proposed a $12.8 billion budget, which included a $23 million reduction for the LA Fire Department. The budget was approved with a 12-3 vote, which went into effect July 1st, 2024. So they just cut the budget literally 6 months ago. How's that working out for you, LA?
It's not working out very well. Lord.
Again, people are just raging and calling her out on this stuff. Well, the LA Fire Department also passed a racial equity ban to end systemic, institutional, and structural racism in LA. Part of it is a chart to map out.
Of course. That's what you use the fucking tax dollars on, and most people in LA, the sodomites, are perfectly happy with having their tax dollars be used for that.
The race of every employee to make sure they're racially diverse enough. So instead of worrying about, I don't know, watering the fire hydrants, instead of worrying about making sure all your people are trained, instead of worrying about you're good to go for fire season or you're going to do some controlled burns to get rid of the scrub that might lead to a mass fire like this, no.
Oh, something else too. So Joker will bring up controlled burns quite a bit. The reason why controlled burns are so important, it's like, a fire, you will start a fire, but it's to prevent catastrophes like what's happening in LA, from happening. Like, you need to get rid of some of that shrubbery, otherwise, major problems will happen. The LAFD ignored it. They were not doing controlled burns. They ignored it, and so everything caught on fire.
They are putting out, this is from the letterhead, Los Angeles Fire Department, in accordance with the City of Los Angeles racial equity vision to end systemic, institutional, and structural racism in the City of Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Fire Department has established a racial equity action plan, which at its core is to ensure racial equity by focusing on providing equitable opportunities and access for people of all races. And here's a chart where you are tracking the race of the staff and the gender of the staff. Well, how's that working out for you now? Way to really focus on the problems at hand, like a fire that might be raging and burning your city down. You know, when you put idiots in charge of things, and I understand many of you are not here in the United States that watch me and you're overseas and you're like, it's LA. Look, if Paris burned to the ground because of DEI and unpreparedness, I'd be doing this story, even though
Same here. I'd also be covering this if it was like Paris.
I'm American. If Sydney, Australia burned into the ground and they had DEI and no water and all, I'd be doing this. This is a global thing because Australia is going the same direction. England is going the same direction.
Yep.
Ireland, Sweden, Finland, Germany, Italy. All these countries are going.
Maybe not Italy, but man, definitely all those other countries you listed. Like, something like the LA fires is bound to happen because they're not focused on, the best of the best getting the job, the qualified getting the job. I shouldn't be saying best of the best. The qualified people getting these important life-saving jobs. Like, there's a reason why, firefighters are celebrated in local communities. That's because they do something that is very risky to their lives. It's very heroic. It's very brave for them to do. That's why firefighters are celebrated in their local communities. But when the firefighters are incompetent boobs who got in there because of DEI bullshit, that also erodes community trust. Because what happens is, you know, now that this has happened, it's like the people are going to be wary of the fire department. They are going to, they're not going to, you know, hold them in the regard that they should. They're going to, you know, probably be a little mean to their local fireman, even though they probably weren't doing anything wrong in particular. They were given orders due to the circumstances that they've had, and, you know, it's like it sucks. They want to do their job. They want to help the community, but they can't because they don't have the resources to do so. You could blame the fire department chief, blame the mayor, all appropriate targets. Gavin Newsom, too.
In the same direction of DEI and women need this and we need strong that and blah, 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 right? We're running out of money, so let's print more. All this is a global phenomenon. So that's why a story like this, it's really not about LA. It's about...
Am I the only one who thinks that all the world's great flood myths are based on the end of the Ice Age? That actually seems pretty likely. We are actually still approaching the end of the Ice Age. Like all the stuff we're seeing because of climate change is something. It's actually pretty reasonable that, you know, the world is getting, you know, the world's getting hotter in some places, the world's getting colder in others. That's normal. That's actually normal. That's not a problem. You can't beat the allegations, Scurvy. Of what? What am I jealous of? I don't know what you're talking about, Henok.
Well, it happened to LA. It will eventually happen elsewhere. It just hasn't happened elsewhere yet. But you are putting stupid people in charge that are totally focusing. And these are the weak people that keep voting for the dummies. And they're the weak people that are in the positions that were voted in by the dummies. And that's why I think this is important, and that's why I'm talking about this on all my channels today, because these are the weak people that bring...
Scurvy is jealous of the fire chief in Cali. Of what? I don't know. Well, let's keep going. We're going to continue this for a little bit longer.
Bad times. I'd say weak men, but instead they're putting in weak people.
Los Angeles Fire Department celebrated in fag parade. The police chief handed out fag flags to attendees. She is hailed as the first female and fag chief and says her priority is DEI. DEI, more like DIE. Your tax dollars pay for this.
The Los Angeles Fire Department celebrated a pride parade. The police chief handed out pride flags to attendees. She is hailed as the first female and LGHDTV chief and said her priority is DEI, not firefighting. And this is a picture of course, her in parades. I have it muted because who cares about all the sirens and
all the gay porn noises.
I understand. When I was a kid, fire chiefs would go out. They would shake hands. They would have parades with their fire trucks and things like that. I'm fine. I'm fine with them being in a parade. This doesn't light me up, okay? But the fire trucks are coated in LGHD TV stuff and pride flags.
What animates me in this thing, like from that post, it's her priorities. It's like what the post said. She is prioritizing something that really shouldn't be prioritized in a field that's all about force and saving lives. That's what animates me to be so angry about this.
So this isn't about a parade or like a normal parade. This isn't about a parade for the firefighters. It's about promoting a cause, diversity. Well, her, apparently at least, her...
Ew. Fucking course she looks like that. She's a lesbian too, by the way.
Priority isn't fighting fires. Her priority isn't making sure and this is only part of the story. I have so many other things to touch on today, so bear with me. But this is the part that strikes out to me the most because her priority isn't fighting fires. Her priority isn't fighting or hiring the best staff. Her priority is making sure there's enough women and brown people in the fire department. That's not focusing on the best. That's focusing on equality and equity. And when that is your priority and not training, you know, I'm...
That's a good question, too. It's like, how well trained are these firefighters? That is a genuine question. I'm sure some of them are. I'm sure some of them are, but I have a feeling a lot of the new ones are not, because they were brought on because my brown people, my gay people. Give me a fucking break.
All you have to do is type firefighting training in YouTube or on Rumble or whatever, and you see these guys running up to buildings and hooking ladders and racing up them, and you see them with these concrete buildings that are, you know, like a couple stories high. They're not very big, wide, width-wise. But it's so you can light them, they're made out of concrete, and you can fill them with burnable material. You light them on fire, and then firefighters practice, you know, hose techniques and how to go inside with your masks and your oxygen, and how to rescue people in the smoke-filled room when you can't see anything, how to feel around, how to know when there's going to be a backdraft, how to know when things are going to go south, how to do your job. What are they doing? Parades and worrying about the color.
Ugh, Jesus Christ. Wait. I have the perfect fucking clip for this. I have the perfect fucking clip that goes with this. It's from South Park, yes. South Park. Metro. Fuck, where is it? Damn it! I can't seem to find it. But it was the episode South Park is Gay. It's like in season 7, and basically there's like a metrosexual pride parade, and one of the floats catches on fire, and they're like, "Oh my God, the float is on fire! Somebody put it out!" And Officer Barbrady is like, "Are you kidding me? I just got this outfit pressed this morning."
Color of the people's skin and the gender of the people they hire. That's the problem. So she and her wife were just hired recently. Kristen and Crowley, 19 fire police, or a fire chief of the LA Fire Department. She took oath of March 25th of 2022.
Fucking course, it's a package deal. Package deal of fucking incompetency and faggotry. It's always a package deal.
And her goal is creating and supporting and promoting a culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity while striving to meet and exceed the expectations of the communities are Chief Crowley's priorities. She's grateful for the opportunity to serve the city of Los Angeles. Now, she did throw in there to meet and exceed the expectations of the communities. Expectations of what? Diversity, inclusion, or firefighting? I noticed they don't really mention anything about fire.
Yeah, but the expectations are not defined at all. It's like, I mean, maybe the community's expectations are just a bunch of faggotry. I mean, it is LA after all, but an actual expectation is being able to save someone's life. And who's going to be able to do that quicker, a man or a woman? It's going to be the man every single time.
Firefighting or being prepared.
Because men are stronger, smarter, are able to control their emotions better. They're just more qualified to do the job.
You know how I know this? There's no water in the fire hydrants. All these diverse firefighters that are ready to put out fires, there's no water. So if you're out training and testing and preparedness and ready to go, you know what you might want to do? Make sure there's water in your city's fire hydrants. Oopsie. This is more about, I'll just play this. It's like a minute long. This is what the news is talking about. This is what the focus of Los Angeles Fire Department is about.
Yeah, we're going to continue for, let's see, how long is Joker going to play this? This is fine. A few more minutes.
Los Angeles Fire Department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau. It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
I want you to listen to that again. They just launched I'll play it again then. Listen carefully.
Los Angeles Fire Department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau.
The fire department launched its own diversity bureau. Not the city, not the mayor. The fire department launched its first equity diversity bureau. That means instead of focusing on fires, they launched their own bureau. So the city's got a bureau, and the police department's got a bureau. Everybody's got their own bureau of diversity. So they created a subset of the fire department that is diversity.
It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero is live in North Hollywood with more on what it entails and why it's necessary. Christian?
Ellen, Colleen, the discrepancies are stark even just on paper. The LAFD this year hired its first ever female chief, and it says so far this year 8% of its applicants have been women. That might sound like a small number, but it's actually twice the percentage of female firefighters currently in the department.
And none of those women should be there. Firefighting, once again, is a job that only men should be doing. They possess the strength, the intellect, the emotional control, and a whole bunch of other traits that women just don't have for the job. It's the same reason why they should not be police officers. If women want to serve the federal government, they should apply to be a male woman or something.
Every day, the LAFD is called upon to respond to crises, and today it is taking a step to resolve one of its own. The department's first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau will launch in January, 1 year since its first ever female fire chief, Kristen Crowley, was appointed.
So by creating this new bureau, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, now we actually have the staff to do the work when it comes to doing a deep dive in regard to how we do business, how we take care of one another in the fire station.
Okay, I think we're going to end the cancellation segment here, but ultimately, we do have a name we could blame for all of this happening. This whole fire, which, you know, is both a blessing and a curse, depending on how you look at it. We do have somebody we could blame here. And that would be Kristen Crowley, the LA Fire Department chief. So, why is she getting canceled? It's... Do I need to show you what the fires looked like? Do I need to? I don't think I need to. But with that being said, Kristen Crowley is indeed canceled. And let's head to the after show here. I might have another segment, a little after show segment or something. But I also want to do other stuff too, other than just stream. Let's see. I will take a look at my notifications again. Let's look at some. Do you guys want to look at more World of T-Shirts stuff to kind of decompress? Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna look at another World of T-Shirts segment. Why not? Why not? I love doing these. And after this one, yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. But this is in New York City. World of T-Shirts turns into Winter Soldier after he hears "put the fries in the bag" and bull rushes for a whole block down a New York City street.
There he is!
Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Get away from us!
Get out of here.
Get out of here before I beat you Bronco style!
Get him, Josh! We're good, Josh! We're good!
Like, everybody keeps telling him to put the fries in the bag, and he's just like, he just keeps raging and raging. He keeps getting angrier every time somebody says it. Like, when Chris Chan got trolled by the same method over and over again, he did adapt. World of T-Shirts can't do that. He can't adapt. I thought he could when he was like, "Now you put the fries in the bag." But no, he's clearly incapable of doing that.
Josh, we're good. We're good, Josh. We're good. Josh, don't worry about him. Get away from us. He's done. Josh, it's all right. He's good.
Look at the way he runs. Somehow that running form is like Naruto ninja running.
Dude, come on. Josh, we're good. We're good. He left.
No, he didn't!
He's gone. I'll get him, Josh. He'll take care of him. Away. Don't even worry about it. It's okay. Ignore him, Josh. He's gone. We're okay. Block him out. Don't worry about him. Look.
What's going on?
Get him away, please!
He's gone. Ignore him. Get the fuck out of here! That guy's unemployed, no worries.
That guy's unemployed. Man, I could go for a bag of hot fries right about now. Yeah, same here, but I've been drinking, so I can't drive.
I'm gonna send him back to Saudi Arabia.
I'm gonna send him back to Saudi Arabia. What?
That's a good one, man.
Where's... We don't want you in this country, bitch!
That's a little too far, but come on, let's get back on schedule. Josh, have you been to Saudi Arabia?
We don't want you here! Go back to the third world country you came from.
Go back to the third world country you came from. Josh, never change, man. Keep providing us with laughs. Anyways, that will be the end of the show for the night. I'm just kind of getting my sea legs again when it comes to streaming because it has been a while. But, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Let me put up that little banner for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I think I'm going to play some well-deserved Guilty Gear Strive. Not on stream, but, you know. And when I'm done with everything, when I shut everything off. Scurvy, 2 weeks without a stream is gay. No. Don't worry, Hanok. This was just kind of, like, a bit of a trial, so to speak. You know, being back home, seeing how the stream was, it turned out pretty well. But, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can send you guys to somebody else's stream. So, let's see. Yep,
to get started with.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Celestium is live. Sacro. What the egad? Pipkin Pippa's live. Hypnotica's live. Let's see. I think Celestium's playing Marvel Rivals right now. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna send you guys to her stream. She's not used to having the Orange's audience over at her part of the internet. But anyways, I will catch you guys later. I'll see you. Oh, I think I'll try to have a stream next week. Actually, no, I think I will have a stream next week. Then, after that, I will... I'll see if I can try... A video is going to be a maybe. It's going to be like a maybe. But other than that, I think I'm going to try and work on the Andrew Ditch shitlist video. So anyways, I'll catch you guys.